Chapter 276. However, doing business in the Twilight Pavilion would require a lot of wealth. For example, some crucial information would cost millions or even tens of millions of energy-amassing pills. As for hiring someone to kill someone, the price would be astronomical. When Chu Fengmian came to the Qin Empire, he was poor and had no medicinal pills. Therefore, he planned to sell the spiritual weapons in the treasure vault of Great Emperor Richlush to make some money. "Senior, what are you looking for?" When the warriors saw Chu Fengmian walk into the shop, they hurriedly came over and tried to curry favor with him. As long as Chu Fengmian made a deal in the Twilight Pavilion, they would get a cut. That was why they were willing to work as servants in the Twilight Pavilion to earn some medicinal pills. "I have a big business deal to do with your Twilight Pavilion. Go and find your pavilion lord to discuss it with me." Chu Fengmian looked at the martial artists and said coldly. As an Imperial Wind Realm martial artist, he was considered a senior in front of these martial artists. Naturally, he had to be cold and arrogant. If Chu Fengmian appeared too ordinary, it would be easy for others to see through him. Chu Fengmian knew that people who were kind would be bullied. "You want to find our pavilion lord? We can't make the decision." The martial artists looked at each other and hesitated. The pavilion lord of the Twilight Pavilion was not someone they could meet. Moreover, who was the pavilion lord? He was considered a figure in the Nine Cauldron ancient city. Although Chu Fengmian's cultivation level was not low, an Imperial Wind Realm martial artist could not meet the pavilion lord unless he had a big background. While the martial artists were hesitating, a woman suddenly came out of the shop and looked at Chu Fengmian. "How may I address you? What business do you have that you need to meet the pavilion lord of the Twilight Pavilion?" The woman came out with a smile on her face, which made people have a good impression of her. The woman's cultivation level was at the 5th level of the Imperial Wind Realm. Obviously, she was a high-level figure in the Twilight Pavilion. "My name is Chu Han. I want to sell a batch of spiritual weapons in the Twilight Pavilion. I'm afraid that you can't make the decision without seeing your pavilion lord." Chu Fengmian said calmly. "So it's Mr. Chu." The woman smiled and said, "My name is Chanya, and I have quite a bit of influence in the Twilight Pavilion. If Mr. Chu has any business, please feel free to talk to me," Chanya said with a confident smile. Although the price of spirit weapons had risen due to the war between the 6 nations, she was still able to afford a sum of spirit weapons. Moreover, judging from Chu Fengmian's appearance, he didn't seem to be someone with a wealthy background. How big of a business could he have? However, regardless of who they were doing business with, their Sunset Pavilion would always be courteous. Thus, after hearing Chu Fengmian's words, she was not angry. Instead, she wanted to complete this business. "All right then, let's go in and talk." Chu Fengmian glanced at Chanya, and with a move of his feet, he walked into the Sunset Pavilion. Under Chanya's lead, they arrived at a secret chamber. There were countless restrictions engraved around the chamber to prevent others from eavesdropping and peeking. The people who did business in the Twilight Pavilion were not only doing legitimate business. Many of their businesses were not allowed to see the light of day. Therefore, the contents of the transaction were extremely secretive, and no one could know about it. However, when Chu Fengmian entered the secret chamber, he found that there was an expert watching every movement in the chamber. This concealment was only effective against others. To some experts, this little bit of restriction was nothing. However, Chu Fengmian did not care. The person who was watching was one of the higher-ups of the Twilight Pavilion. "No one can peep into this secret chamber. Mr. Chu, you can take out whatever you want to sell. Even if the business fails, our Twilight Pavilion will not divulge any secret." Chanya stood aside and said with a smile, "I have a batch of spirit weapons that I want to sell. Let Miss Chanya appraise them and tell me the price." Chu Fengmian did not talk nonsense. With a thought, a scimitar appeared in Chu Fengmian's hand. The moment the scimitar appeared, a sharp saber aura swept out and was broken by Chu Fengmian's palm. Chanya's expression changed. The moment the scimitar appeared, the saber aura swept out. It was clearly an Earth-grade spirit weapon. The confidence on her face was restrained, and her eyes became more serious. She thought that the big business that Chu Fengmian mentioned was nothing. However, it seemed that this was a big business. This scimitar is a supreme-grade spirit weapon, but the refining method is extremely mysterious. Its power is even close to an earth-grade spirit weapon. It's much stronger than an ordinary supreme-grade spirit weapon. There are 5 lines engraved on it. With such a spirit weapon, one is almost invincible among the same realm martial artists. Which expert refined this? To be willing to spend so much effort. Qianya looked at the scimitar in Chu Fengmian's hand and whispered to herself. This spirit weapon is definitely worth millions of 9 cauldron pills. The 9 cauldron pill was a popular medicinal pill in the Qin dynasty. It was concocted by the 9 Cauldrons sect, the most powerful organization in the ancient city of 9 Cauldrons. It was very popular in the 9 realms, and a single pill was worth 10 energy convergence pills. Although it couldn't compare to gold spirit pills, it was still one of the highest quality pills in the 9 realms, and could be sold in dozens of kingdoms. Millions of 9 cauldron pills were equivalent to tens of millions of energy convergence pills. It was a price far higher than Chu Fengmian had imagined. It seems the price of spirit weapons really has risen since the war between the 6 nations began. Grand Emperor Richlush's treasure storehouse has dozens of profound and supreme-grade spirit weapons, as well as over 100 mid-grade and low-grade spirit weapons. That's definitely a huge fortune. Grand Emperor Richlush had been a grandmaster equipment forger, and the fact that he had been able to create the Richlush steel showed that his skill in equipment forging was extremely high. All of the spirit weapons Grand Emperor Richlush had left behind for Chu Fengmian. To Chu Fengmian, profound spirit weapons weren't very useful. As for the earth-grade spirit weapons, Chu Fengmian had given them to Hanueli to help her grow stronger. As for Chu Fengmian himself, he already had the Richlush steel and the Scarlet Flame sword. Giving him more spirit weapons would be pointless if he didn't know how to use them. The Twilight Pavilion is willing to pay 8 million 9 cauldron pills for that scimitar. Qianya thought for a moment, then said. That price was about 50% higher than normal, but considering the war between the 6 nations was about to begin, the price of spirit weapons was going to skyrocket. Chapter 277. Miss Qianya, there's no need to worry. This is only a part of it. I still have dozens of spiritual weapons like this. Qianya had just calmed down when Chu Fengmian's words made her mind explode. Even though she had seen endless wealth, she was still stunned when she heard Chu Fengmian's words. There were dozens of spiritual weapons like this scimitar. Although such a spiritual weapon was rare in the 9 tripod ancient city, it was still rare. If it was auctioned, it would be enough to attract many people. According to Chu Fengmian's words, this scimitar was only one of them? There were dozens of spiritual weapons like this? What kind of concept was this? Even a master blacksmith might not have so many spiritual weapons. Qianya realized that she had underestimated the big deal Chu Fengmian had mentioned. Even if she had some status in the Twilight Pavilion, such a big deal was not something she could make the decision for. Mr. Chu, this deal is too big. I'm not qualified to make the decision. Can I take this scimitar away and let our pavilion master appraise it? Qianya hesitated for a moment and said. Such a big deal was extremely important to the Twilight Pavilion. It was even more precious during this special period when the 6 nations were at war. Sure. I still trust the Twilight Pavilion, Chu Fengmian said calmly. Chu Fengmian said calmly. His expression remained calm, making it impossible for others to understand what he was thinking. All right, please wait a moment, Mr. Chu. Qianya took the scimitar and left in a hurry. When she left, she could not help but take a few more glances at Chu Fengmian. To be able to take out such wealth, he was definitely not an ordinary person. However, she had never seen Chu Fengmian's appearance before. No matter what, this deal must be negotiated. Qianya calmed down and came to the top floor of the Twilight Pavilion. Pavilion Master, Qianya has something to discuss with you. I already know what you want to say. An old man suddenly appeared. Even though the old man's strength hadn't stepped into the divine force realm and become a saint, he was still stronger than Mo Miaohai and the others. He could be considered a top figure amongst half-saints. After a few fortuitous encounters, they might really be able to break through to the divine force realm and become saints. That scimitar should have been refined by a master refiner who had transcended life and death. The technique used is extremely mysterious. To be able to use such ordinary materials to possess such terrifying power, this method of refining spiritual weapons is enough for countless weapon craftsmen to learn. The old man could not help but praise the scimitar in his hand. Such a scimitar was indeed extraordinary. That Mr. Chu said that there are still dozens of such spirit weapons. If our Twilight Pavilion can get these spirit weapons, we will have a bright future. The old man's eyes flashed with a trace of shrewdness. Now that the war between the 6 nations is about to begin, these spirit artifacts are enough to hold countless auctions. Moreover, we can also take out some of them to give to the general of the setting nation. He is now accumulating his strength and preparing to replace the royal family. Giving him some of the spirit artifacts will definitely be of great benefit to our Twilight Pavilion in the future. The old man quickly calculated the ownership of these spirit artifacts and how to maximize the benefits. Twilight Pavilion must get these spirit artifacts. This old man will personally talk to Mr. Chu. The old man's figure moved, and he walked down. Chu Fengmian sat in the room, quietly drinking tea. After a while, Qianya came back, and the one who walked in front of Qianya was an old man. Chu Fengmian recognized that the old man was the expert who had spied on the experts in the room, but he didn't expose him. He just sat quietly on the chair and drank his tea. This must be Mr. Chu. This old man is the pavilion master of Twilight Pavilion, Lu Qingshan. I heard that Mr. Chu has a big business to discuss with our Twilight Pavilion. Lu Qingshan sat opposite Chu Fengmian and said with a smile. How many spirit artifacts do Mr. Chu have? Take them all out. We will take as many as you have. Well, the Twilight Pavilion is indeed rich. Then, this Chu will not be polite. Chu Fengmian's palm moved, and countless spirit artifacts instantly appeared in his hand. One by one, they were arranged on the ground. There were a total of 43 profound-level spirit artifacts, and all of them were taken out by Chu Fengmian. Even Lu Qingshan, who had seen countless storms, felt his eyelids twitch when he saw Chu Fengmian taking out spiritual weapons one after another as if they were worthless. Who is this person? Is he the disciple of a blacksmith grandmaster? How could he have so many spirit artifacts? These spirit artifacts were all refined by the same person, and the refining method was exactly the same. What surprised Lu Qingshan was that the power of each spirit artifact was not inferior to the machete that Chu Fengmian had taken out before. He originally thought that the machete that Chu Fengmian took out would be the most powerful spirit artifact that Chu Fengmian had. But now, it seemed that the machete could only be regarded as average. Among the countless spirit artifacts that Chu Fengmian took out, several of them were much more powerful than the machete. If these spirit artifacts were taken out, it would be enough to equip the experts of a force. It should be known that many experts at the peak of the wind-resisting realm and even sage-to-be experts did not necessarily have such a spirit artifact. Each of these spirit artifacts could cause a small sensation when taken out. What's wrong? Is the Twilight Pavilion unable to come up with a price? Looking at the stunned Lu Qingshan, Chu Fengmian smiled and said, Of course not. It's just that Mr. Chu's spirit artifacts are indeed of a very high grade. Hearing Chu Fengmian's words, Lu Qingshan reacted and hurriedly said. This was not a compliment. The refining method of these spirit artifacts was definitely not something that the Qin Empire could possess. Even the strongest blacksmith in the Qin Empire could not refine such a spirit artifact. Only a more powerful country, or even a colossus like the Beimang Academy or the Tianjin sect, could refine such a spirit artifact. This person is so unfamiliar, and he has so many spirit artifacts. Could he be from the Beimang Academy? Or even someone from the Tianjin sect? Only these two colossus could produce such a high-grade spirit artifact. Lu Qingshan looked at Chu Fengmian, and a wicked idea came to his mind. But no matter what, the Twilight Pavilion must be on good terms with such a wealthy person. There will be no shortage of business in the future. Lu Qingshan thought in his heart, and at the same time, he was calculating the price. This batch of spirit artifacts costs a total of 350 million 9 cauldron pills. Is Mr. Chu satisfied with this price? Lu Qingshan glanced at Chu Fengmian and said. Chapter 278. Although the price was extremely high, it was not enough to satisfy Chu Fengmian. Chu Fengmian heard the conversation between the two and naturally understood that the value of these spiritual weapons far exceeded the price. Even if there were a lot of elixirs, Chu Fengmian had the battle dragon skill. The consumption of elixirs was like a bottomless pit. He was not afraid of having too many elixirs. Chu Fengmian's eyes flashed as he said. The price of each spiritual weapon is 15 million 9 cauldron elixirs. The total is 650 million 9 cauldron elixirs. 650 million 9 cauldron elixirs was almost double the price. It was simply an exorbitant price. Even Lu Qingshan could not help but frown when he heard the price. Although there was still profit at this price, the Twilight Pavilion had always pursued the greatest profit when doing business. They were not willing to take the initiative to give up profits. Lu Qingshan thought for a moment and said, Mr. Chu's price is too high. Even during the war between the 6 countries, the price of a spiritual weapon is only 5 million 9 cauldron elixirs. The price of 8 million 9 cauldron elixirs is already not low. Oh? Those are just ordinary top-grade profound rank spirit artifacts, right? What I have isn't that kind of trash. Chu Fengmian sneered. He was not a fool. How could he be cheated? He knew the value of these spiritual weapons very well. No matter which force you sell this batch of spiritual weapons to, not only can you make a fortune, but you can also build a good relationship with them. The value is far more than that. This batch of spiritual weapons was extremely important to any chamber of commerce. Chu Fengmian did not believe that the Twilight Pavilion would choose to give it up. Of course, he had to sell it at a good price. Hearing Chu Fengmian's words, Lu Qingshan pondered for a moment before continuing. How about this? Since Mr. Chu is willing to sell the spirit tool to our Twilight Pavilion, it means that you think highly of us. This old man will raise the price a little. 10 million per spirit tool, a total of 430 million 9 furnace pills. What do you think, for 30 million 9 cauldron elixirs? Since Pavilion Master Lu is not sincere and does not intend to take a step back, there is no need to talk about this business. I'll go to other chambers of commerce to have a look. There must be someone who can buy this batch of spiritual weapons. Chu Fengmian snorted. As he spoke, he kept all the spiritual weapons and stood up, ready to leave. Mr. Chu, please wait. Seeing that Chu Fengmian was about to leave, Lu Qingshan hurriedly stopped Chu Fengmian. This batch of spiritual tools could not only bring wealth, but it could also open up many connections. Wealth was not very important to the Twilight Pavilion. But once they could establish a connection, there would be an endless stream of wealth. No matter what, they had to devour this batch of spirit artifacts today. 650 million 9 cauldron pills it is. As Lu Qingshan spoke, he waved his hand and a sky full of pills appeared in the secret room like a long river. Not bad. It is indeed 650 million 9 cauldron pills. Chu Fengmian's eyes swept over them and found out the number. 650 million, no more, no less. Chu Fengmian moved his palm, and the entire river of medicinal pills was completely collected by Chu Fengmian. Oh? Seeing this, Lu Qingshan's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise. 650 million 9 cauldron pills. This amount of wealth was so huge that it would not be easy to hold on to it. He had deliberately taken out all the medicinal pills because he wanted to probe Chu Fengmian's background. However, he didn't expect that Chu Fengmian would be able to take them all without any effort. It seems that Mr. Chu does have some background. Lu Qingshan thought to himself as he collected all 43 top-grade profound spiritual weapons. Although Lu Qingshan saw Chu Fengmian's cultivation level, he did not see Chu Fengmian's move clearly. Chu Fengmian's strength was not as simple as it seemed. I also want to sell some lower, middle and upper profound grade spiritual tools. Chu Fengmian said.
Oh?
Of course, the Twilight Pavilion welcomes them. Mr. Chu, please take them out. Lu Qingshan was stunned at first, but then he laughed. It seemed that he had encountered a big business today. It was a wise choice not to let Chu Fengmian go. Although this batch of profound grade spiritual tools was valuable, there were not many of them. It would be a waste to use them to establish connections. If there were still a batch of lower grade spiritual tools, it would be just right to use them to establish connections. Yes. Chu Fengmian nodded. With a wave of his hand, countless spiritual tools filled the secret chamber. This time, there were 300 to 400 profound grade spiritual tools. They were lower, middle, and upper profound grade spiritual tools. They were densely packed in the secret chamber. With so many spiritual weapons, Lu Qingshan was caught off guard. Even for him, this was the first time he had seen so many spiritual weapons. However, the grades of this batch of spiritual artifacts were not uniform. Many of the spiritual tools in this batch were not obtained by Chu Fengmian from the tomb of rich lush great emperor. Many of them were obtained from the people he had killed. The quality, crafting methods, and so on were all different. Mr. Chu, could you wait for a moment so that I can take a look? Lu Qingshan said hurriedly, wiping the sweat off his forehead. It's fine. Take a look and give me a price. Chu Fengmian nodded his head as he closed his eyes and began to ponder. After waiting for 4 to 6 hours, Lu Qingshan finally finished counting all of the spiritual weapons. Mr. Chu, there are 87 upper-grade spiritual tools, 104 middle-grade spiritual tools, and 230 lower-grade spiritual tools in this batch. How about 900 million 9 cauldron pills? Lu Qingshan was a little nervous when he said this number. It had been a long time since the Twilight Pavilion had such a big deal. Although the quality of this batch of spiritual tools was not as good as the previous batch, there were 10 times more of them. The total value was naturally very high. All right. Chu Fengmian nodded and did not raise the price. This price was already the upper limit in Chu Fengmian's heart. It seemed that Lu Qingshan had raised the price to the maximum in order to rope in Chu Fengmian, the god of wealth. Mr. Chu, here are 900 million 9 cauldron pills. Please accept them. Lu Qingshan put away all the spiritual tools and waved his hand, turning them into a long river of spiritual pills. Chu Fengmian easily grabbed all 900 million 9 cauldron pills and stored them in his spatial ring. Chapter 279. Pavilion Master Lu, what's the biggest auction in the 9 cauldron ancient city? Chu Fengmian suddenly asked. Now that he had wealth, he naturally had to spend it. Chu Fengmian had no use for the 9 cauldron elixirs, so he might as well spend it to buy things that could increase his strength. Unlike the Wuxian country, the Qin Empire was still very prosperous and was considered a country with some reputation in the 9 regions. The 9 cauldron ancient city was also the largest commercial center in the surrounding dozens of countries. Although the things Chu Fengmian needed were precious, he could still choose to try his luck in the 9 cauldron ancient city. He had just broken through to the Imperial Wind Realm, so he had to increase his strength. Chu Fengmian's current strength could at most contend with some 3rd or 4th divine power realm saints. But now, it wasn't just in the Qin Empire. Even in the small Wuxian nation, there were still some old antiques at the pinnacle of the divine force realm hidden. If these old antiques attacked Chu Fengmian with all their might, they might really be able to kill Chu Fengmian. Therefore, Chu Fengmian had to increase his strength as soon as possible. At the very least, he could escape unscathed from these old antiques. What do you need to buy, Mr. Chu? Our Twilight Pavilion also has some treasures. If Mr. Chu needs them, you can come and take a look. Hearing Chu Fengmian's words, Lu Qingshan smiled. Chu Fengmian had exchanged so many elixirs, so he definitely needed to buy something. If he could do business with Chu Fengmian, their relationship would be even closer. The things I need. Chu Fengmian pondered. Chu Fengmian pondered for a moment, then condensed a stream of spiritual energy in front of him. There were dozens of names densely written on it. These names included materials, monster cores, spiritual herbs, elixirs, and so on. They were all displayed in front of Lu Qingshan. Dragon birth grass, 9 heaven living soil, demon god blood essence. Lu Qingshan's face turned solemn as he scanned through the names on the list. These names represented extremely precious things. The dragon birth grass was a kind of spiritual herb that only grew in the true dragon clan's lair. Although it was an earth-grade herb, its preciousness was comparable to a heaven-grade herb. After all, what kind of strength did one need to have to be able to take the elixirs from the true dragon clan's lair? This was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. As for the 9 heaven life soil below, it was said to be the soil that was once born from the chaos when the heavens and earth were split apart. It possessed the energy of chaos, and it was simply something that only existed in legends. As for the demon god blood essence, it was the blood essence of a true demon god. Each demon god was extremely powerful, even more powerful than a saint. Their blood was extremely precious. The remaining names were not as easy to find as these items. They were all priceless treasures. Even if one had the money, they might not be able to buy them. Could it be that the Twilight Pavilion doesn't have any of these things? Chu Fengmian frowned. Logically speaking, a force like the Twilight Pavilion should have at least one of them. Even if it was just a branch, he should be able to find some of them. After all, these weren't really too precious. The truly precious items weren't even on the list because Chu Fengmian knew that they couldn't be found in the 9 Cauldron ancient city. Here are the heavenly flame mysterious crystal and the mysterious earth gold essence. Our Twilight Pavilion has these 2 items. Lu Qingshan said. Originally, our Twilight Pavilion had 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass. However, it was bought by family Zhao's second young master yesterday. Chu Fengmian intended to buy the first 2 items to refine the Scarlet Flame Sword. After all, the current grade of the Scarlet Flame Sword was indeed a little too low. With Chu Fengmian's current strength, he could completely control a heaven-class lower spiritual weapon. Therefore, he intended to refine the Scarlet Flame Sword again. He was here to buy some materials. However, his eyes lit up when he heard about the 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass. The 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass was a spiritual medicine that grew from the place where the dragon fell. It could be used to refine the spiritual meridians and strengthen the physique of an ordinary martial artist. However, Chu Fengmian possessed the battle dragon skill. He could completely extract the spiritual energy from the 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass. He could even use the spiritual energy to refine the ancient battle dragon's blood essence. It was extremely useful to Chu Fengmian. However, it was a pity that the 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass had been bought by someone else. I'll buy the heavenly flame mysterious crystal and mysterious earth gold essence. What's the price? Chu Fengmian's expression did not change as he spoke calmly. These 2 materials belong to the earth class. Let's make it 70 million 9 cauldron pills. Lu Qingshan thought for a moment and quoted the price. I'll buy it. Chu Fengmian did not waste any time and directly said. These 2 materials were the main materials to refine the Scarlet Flame Sword. Although their grades were not high, they were still considered rare in the 9 Cauldron ancient city. In order to prevent others from buying them, Chu Fengmian naturally bought them in one go. All right. Qianya, go and get the 2 materials. Lu Qingshan said to Qianya beside him. Chu Fengmian also took out 70 million 9 cauldron pills and handed them to Lu Qingshan. After a while, Qianya walked over with 2 stones. One of the stones was burning with raging flames while the other looked extremely heavy. Yes, these are the 2 materials. Chu Fengmian's mind moved. He took the 2 materials and placed them into his empty ring. Tonight, the biggest auction in the 9 Cauldron City will be held. Mr. Chu, you can go and take a look. It is said that some of the items being auctioned today are exactly what you need. Lu Qingshan looked at Chu Fengmian and said with a smile. Tonight, Mr. Chu can come to the Sunset Pavilion with Qianya. Qianya is very familiar with the Nine Cauldron ancient city and can take care of you. All right. Chu Fengmian nodded. He knew that Lu Qingshan was trying to get close to him, but Chu Fengmian did not refuse. He was not familiar with the Nine Cauldron ancient city. Without anyone to help him, he could not even find the auction, let alone participate. Oh right, if Mr. Chu has time, you can go to the unique treasure pavilion. There are many strange things there that you might need. Just as Chu Fengmian was about to turn and leave, Lu Qingshan suddenly said. Oh? Unique treasure pavilion? I can go and take a look. Chu Fengmian walked out of the Sunset Pavilion and followed Lu Qingshan's directions to the unique treasure pavilion. Chapter 280. Chu Fengmian walked into the crowd and saw countless people standing in front of the mysterious treasure pavilion. Some of them walked out with pale faces and looked disappointed. Some of them even cried. Some of them walked out with smiles on their faces, as if they had encountered a joyous occasion. Every person who walked out of the mysterious treasure pavilion had a different expression. If they weren't sad, then they were happy. This made Chu Fengmian interested. Stop. To enter the mysterious treasure pavilion, you must first pay a fee of 109 cauldrons of pills. Chu Fengmian walked to the door and was stopped by a few warriors. Oh? You need to pay to enter the mysterious treasure pavilion? Seeing this scene, Chu Fengmian finally understood why so many people were standing outside but not going in. 109 cauldrons of pills. Although it wasn't a lot, it was quite expensive just to go in and take a look. To warriors, each set of pills was used for cultivation. Very few of them were willing to take out their pills to go in and see the fun. However, to Chu Fengmian, 109 cauldrons of pills didn't matter. He now had more than 1 billion in wealth. Why would he care about such a small amount? Chu Fengmian casually took out 109 cauldrons of pills and paid. Young master, please come in. Chu Fengmian and the other guards took the money and retreated, allowing Chu Fengmian to enter. One of the guards followed Chu Fengmian and explained. Young master, this must be your first time in the mysterious treasure pavilion. Our mysterious treasure pavilion isn't a shop, but a place where we collect many strange items. All of the strange items are sold for 100,009 cauldrons of pills. The guard followed Chu Fengmian and slowly explained. Among the strange items, there are high and low values. We know some of them, but we don't know the effects of some of them. As for what you can buy, that depends on what you see. Once you buy it, you can't return it. Hearing the guard's words, Chu Fengmian finally understood why some of the warriors who came out were so happy and some were so sad. Buying things in the mysterious treasure pavilion was like gambling. The items here were all sold for 100,009 cauldrons of pills. However, the value of the items varied. It was possible to buy an extremely valuable item, but it was also possible to buy something worthless. This mysterious treasure pavilion is quite interesting. Chu Fengmian couldn't help but say. This was his first time coming to such a place. The items in the mysterious treasure pavilion were actually obtained by our pavilion master by chance. Our pavilion master likes to collect these strange items, but there are many items that our pavilion master cannot recognize. That's why he chose to build the mysterious treasure pavilion. The guard said slowly. As long as you buy the item, you must tell the pavilion head about its origin. There was once someone who bought a piece of 9 heavens meteorite metal from the mysterious treasure pavilion. It was worth nearly 100 million 9 cauldron pills. I'm afraid that even in 1,000 years, no one from the mysterious treasures pavilion has ever made such a fortune. Hearing the guard's words, Chu Fengmian smiled and said. The 9 heavens meteorite iron was a material that fell from the sky. It was extremely precious and was enough to forge a heaven-grade spirit artifact. It was worth more than 100 million 9 cauldron pills. This kind of fortune might not be seen even in 1,000 years in the mysterious treasure pavilion. However, it was still possible to make a small fortune. As a character from 10,000 years ago, Chu Fengmian had read a lot of books. Some of the strange items couldn't escape his eyes. I can take a look. Chu Fengmian's interest was not small. Since he was here, he might as well take a look. After all, there were still a few hours before the auction. The courtyard was filled with countless strange items. Some of them were only the size of a thumb, while others were as big as small hills. Oh! Dragon blood crystal? As Chu Fengmian walked, he suddenly saw a stone that was half a man's height. This stone looked like an ordinary stone. There was no difference. However, Chu Fengmian could sense through his bloodline that there was a piece of dragon blood crystal in this stone. This dragon blood crystal was a kind of crystal formed by condensing the blood of a true dragon. After refining it, it could prolong one's life and strengthen one's physique. It was somewhat useful for Chu Fengmian. Chu Fengmian walked toward the dragon blood crystal. Beside Chu Fengmian, there was an old man and a young man. The two of them were strolling around. Grandmaster Mu, this time I invited you here to give my father a big gift. Please take a good look. The young man said to the old man, Grandmaster Mu. Obviously, this Grandmaster Mu was the person he invited to appraise these strange items. In the 9 regions, not everyone liked martial arts. Some people would choose to study other things. Grandmaster Mu was a person who studied antiques and strange items. He was somewhat famous in the 9 Cauldron ancient city. Young Master Zhao, you're welcome. Grandmaster Mu chuckled and looked at the stone that was half a man's height. This is a good thing. There is a dragon blood crystal in that stone. The great general is thinking of a way to survive the great calamity and needs to replenish his blood energy. Young Master Zhao, you can buy that stone. Dragon blood crystal? Young Master Zhao heard the name and knew how precious it was. A piece of dragon blood crystal was worth 10 million 9 cauldron pills. If he could buy it, he would make a big profit. Okay, I'll buy it now. Young Master Zhao saw the stone that was half a man's height and walked toward it. However, when he arrived, he was faster than him and walked to the front of the stone. This figure was Chu Fengmian. This stone, I'll buy it. Chu Fengmian took out 100,000 9 cauldron pills and sent it to the guard beside him. Then, he bought the stone. Stop! Young Master Zhao's expression changed when he saw that the stone had been snatched by someone else. Chu Fengmian didn't care when he heard the shout. He walked away and looked at other things. If anyone could stop Chu Fengmian, then Chu Fengmian would lose too much face. Damn it, stop right there. Young Master Zhao's face turned red when he saw that Chu Fengmian didn't care about his words. He was about to explode. Who was young Master Zhao? In the 9 Cauldron ancient city, he wasn't respected by everyone. However, even famous people had to give him some face. No one dared to ignore his words. However, Chu Fengmian didn't just snatch the dragon blood crystal from his hand. He didn't even care about his words. This made young Master Zhao furious. Where did this guy come from? How dare he not give me face? I asked you to stop. Chapter 281. In this mysterious treasure pavilion, martial artists were not allowed to fight. Otherwise, they would have been in a mess. However, this young Master Zhao did not care about the rules and suddenly attacked. Although he was arrogant, he had stepped into the 7th level of the Imperial Wind Realm at such a young age. He had the qualifications to be arrogant. In his opinion, Chu Fengmian was just a guy at the 1st level of the Imperial Wind Realm. One move was enough to kill him. In this move, he did not hold back at all. He intended to kill Chu Fengmian directly. Courting death? Chu Fengmian naturally knew about this young Master Zhao. However, Chu Fengmian was too lazy to be entangled with such a person. He disdained to bother with him. This young Master Zhao was courting death. He actually dared to sneak attack Chu Fengmian. This move was merciless. If Chu Fengmian was really a 1st level of the Imperial Wind Realm martial artist, then he would have been killed. Chu Fengmian coldly snorted. Suddenly, a dragon's roar sounded. Under this dragon's roar, young Master Zhao's spiritual energy was shattered. He was pushed back by Chu Fengmian and spat out a mouthful of blood. This dragon's roar directly shattered young Master Zhao's internal organs. Without half a year's time, he would not be able to recover. And in this half a year, he would not be able to cultivate anymore. For these young martial artists, every moment was extremely important while they were still young. The foundation laid in their youth was destined to be their future achievements. Not being able to cultivate for half a year was definitely a huge blow to a young genius like young Master Zhao. It was enough for countless people to take advantage of this half a year to surpass him. You dare to injure me, Zhao Duanxiao. Looks like you're really tired of living. Young Master Zhao, Zhao Duanxiao said angrily. In an instant, endless flames condensed around Zhao Duanxiao. These flames were all colorful. Look, there's a fight over there. It's the second young master of the marshal's family, Zhao. Zhao Duanxiao. What's going on? Who provoked this malefic star? Many people recognized Zhao Duanxiao's identity at a glance and could not help but discuss at the side. Zhao Duanxiao was a malefic star in the Nine Cauldron ancient city. No one dared to provoke him. After all, behind him was family Zhao. And the master of family Zhao was the real #1 person in the Qin Empire, the Grand Marshal Zhao Wudi. In the Qin Empire, the royal family was the most respected. However, even though the marshal of the armed forces was a general who guarded a region, in reality, Zhao Wudi was not part of the Qin Empire. He controlled a region on his own and had military power. He wanted to replace the royal family at all times. Although the royal family of the Qin Empire still had some power, in the eyes of countless people, it was only a matter of time before they were replaced by Zhao Wudi. As for Zhao Duanxiao, he was the second son of Zhao Wudi. He was practically the prince of the Qin Empire. Who would dare to provoke him? Today, someone actually dared to provoke him. That person looks unfamiliar. He doesn't look like someone from the Nine Cauldron ancient city. An outsider actually dared to provoke Zhao Duanxiao. What bad luck. But this guy actually injured Zhao Duanxiao with a single move. He should have some strength. He's not as simple as he looks. So what? Whoever provokes Zhao Duanxiao will die. Even if the princes are here now, they won't dare to provoke him. Countless people were discussing, which made Chu Fengmian think of one thing. Young Master Zhao, this name seemed to have been heard from somewhere. When Chu Fengmian was in the Twilight Pavilion, it was said that the 1,000-year-old dragon bloodgrass was bought by young Master Zhao. It seemed that it was the person in front of him. Kid, you're the one who bought the 1,000-year-old dragon bloodgrass in the Twilight Pavilion, right? Chu Fengmian looked at Zhao Duanxiao and suddenly said. Yes, I'm the one who bought it. Zhao Duanxiao said coldly. What? You're from the Twilight Pavilion? But even if you're from the Twilight Pavilion, don't even think about leaving after offending me today. Zhao Duanxiao thought that Chu Fengmian was afraid of him and wanted to scare him with the identity of the Twilight Pavilion. He couldn't help but sneer. You dare to sneak attack and injure me. Don't even think about walking out of this mysterious treasure pavilion alive today. Oh? Young Master Zhao is really impressive, but unfortunately, you're a fool. Chu Fengmian looked at Zhao Duanxiao and shook his head. Originally, I was going to give you a chance to obediently hand over the 1,000-year-old dragon bloodgrass and let you live. But now, it seems that I have to at least sew your mouth, lest you provoke someone you shouldn't provoke in the future. When Chu Fengmian's words came out, everyone's gaze changed. They looked at Chu Fengmian as if they were looking at a madman. They originally thought that Chu Fengmian didn't know Zhao Duanxiao's identity, so he dared to clash with Zhao Duanxiao. But now, it seemed that Chu Fengmian knew Zhao Duanxiao's identity and became even more aggressive, not giving him any face. What did Chu Fengmian have? Strength? No matter how strong Chu Fengmian's strength was, could it be that he was stronger than family Zhao? Stronger than Zhao Wudi, the Grand Marshal of the Armed Forces, who was about to pass through a life-and-death crisis. To be able to say such words, he was simply a madman. Even Zhao Duanxiao was trembling with anger. In the Nine Cauldrons ancient city, in the entire Qin Empire, no one dared to speak to him like this. You're arrogant enough. You're the most arrogant person I've ever seen. And also the stupidest person. Looks like you're going to die today. Zhao Duanxiao roared angrily. Master Mu, help me kill this brat. Young Master Zhao's words, this old man will naturally obey. Hearing Zhao Duanxiao's words, Master Mu, who was behind him, suddenly walked out, and his spiritual energy suddenly erupted. Half-saint. This Master Mu was a half-saint at the peak of the wind-resisting realm. Now, dealing with an unknown person like Chu Fengmian could win young Master Zhao's favor. This Master Mu was naturally willing to do it. After all, no matter if it was a half-saint or a so-called master appraiser, if family Zhao was unwilling, he would be destroyed in an instant. But if family Zhao was willing to help him, his future status would also skyrocket. Today, if he could win young Master Zhao's favor, he was naturally willing to help. Brat, let's see how arrogant you can be today. Seeing that Master Mu had agreed to help, Zhao Duanxiao's momentum also became vast. So what if Chu Fengmian's strength was extremely strange? Could he still be a half-saint's opponent? Today, with Master Mu taking action, Chu Fengmian, this unknown person, would definitely die. Looking at Chu Fengmian's calm face, Zhao Duanxiao couldn't help but sneer in his heart. Pretending to be calm, let's see if you'll still be so calm when you're beaten to death. Chapter 282. Yes. Master Mu snorted and walked out. His eyes were full of disdain as he looked at Chu Fengmian. As a half-saint, dealing with a junior like Chu Fengmian was like using a butcher's knife to kill a chicken. But now, in order to please Zhao Duanxiao, he would not care about the crime of bullying the weak. After all, whether it was the 9 regions or the Qin Empire, martial arts were respected. Only strength could be recognized. Master Mu actually made a move. This guy is finished. It seems that he will die in the rare treasure pavilion today. Seeing that Master Mu was about to make a move, everyone present gasped. Master Mu was a half-saint expert, someone who had one foot in the saint realm. He was a famous expert in the Qin Empire. Now, Chu Fengmian was just a little guy who came out of nowhere. The difference in strength between the two could be seen at a glance. Kid, I'll give you a chance. Kill yourself and I'll let you die a quick death. Master Mu looked at Chu Fengmian and said coldly. He did not put Chu Fengmian in his eyes at all. He did not even have the interest to make a move. A half-saint like him was almost invincible under the saint realm. Unless he met a half-saint of the same level, he would not even be interested in making a move. Kill myself? Chu Fengmian's eyes flashed with a trace of mockery. He could kill countless half-saints with a wave of his hand. Chu Fengmian was someone who could kill even a saint. Such a half-saint being arrogant in front of Chu Fengmian was simply courting death. Although Chu Fengmian kept a low profile, it did not mean that Chu Fengmian was at the mercy of others. Just as Chu Fengmian was about to make a move, an old voice suddenly rang out. Warriors are not allowed to fight in the rare treasure pavilion. May the two of you give this old man some face? When the old voice rang out, the spiritual energy on Grandmaster Mu's body dissipated, and a respectful expression appeared on his face. Pavilion Master Mu. Pavilion Master Mu is here. Greetings, Pavilion Master Mu. The surrounding cultivators also greeted him. A white-haired old man slowly walked over. Although the white-haired old man looked very old, he was just like Saint Juemo. Although he looked old, his spiritual energy was extremely robust. Peak Saint? Chu Fengmian's eyes flashed with a trace of seriousness. The pavilion master of the mysterious treasure pavilion was actually a pinnacle saint. It was no wonder that the previously arrogant Grandmaster Mu had directly admitted defeat. Such a powerhouse was indeed not someone that anyone could afford to offend. Even Zhao Duanxiao, who had always been incomparably arrogant, respectfully bowed. Although Zhao Duanxiao's father was already charging towards the supreme life and death realm, he had yet to complete it. Currently, Zhao Wudi's strength was not much stronger than Pavilion Master Mu's. He was an expert who was on equal footing with his father. Although Zhao Duanxiao was arrogant, he could only be respectful. What happened? Pavilion Master Mu walked over and ignored the others. Instead, he asked a guard beside him. That guard began to describe the events that had just happened. So it was a momentary dispute? This old man can understand that young people are hot-tempered. However, the rules of the mysterious treasure pavilion cannot be changed. This old man is only reminding you the first time. If anyone dares to attack again in the mysterious treasure pavilion, don't blame this old man for being ruthless. Pavilion Master Mu glanced at Zhao Duanxiao and coldly said. This sentence was directed at Zhao Duanxiao. The conflict between Chu Fengmian and Zhao Duanxiao was also provoked by him. Yes, this junior won't dare. Zhao Duanxiao hurriedly said. His eyes were full of hatred as he looked at Chu Fengmian. However, he could not vent it out. He could only stare at Chu Fengmian. Kid, you're lucky today. Pavilion Master Mu saved you. If you leave the mysterious treasure pavilion, it will be the time of your death. You're lucky this time. Zhao Duanxiao coldly threatened Chu Fengmian. Then, he left with Master Mu and continued to search for mysterious items in the mysterious treasure pavilion. If Pavilion Master Mu had not spoken, he could naturally ignore the rules of the mysterious treasure pavilion. However, since Pavilion Master Mu had spoken, he could no longer attack Chu Fengmian in the mysterious treasure pavilion. He could only wait for Chu Fengmian to leave the mysterious treasure pavilion before he could attack Chu Fengmian again. Time of my death? As long as I want to live, no one can make me die. Chu Fengmian also sneered. He ignored Zhao Duanxiao and left to search for other mysterious items. There were at least a few thousand people in the 9 regions who wanted to kill Chu Fengmian. There were people from the 7 great sects, people from the Wuxing country, and even people from the 6 countries who wanted to kill Chu Fengmian. However, the only outcome for those people was to be killed by Chu Fengmian. The person who could kill Chu Fengmian had not been born yet. Phew, this guy is really arrogant. He still dares to confront Zhao Duanxiao. After the two of them left, the crowd began to discuss among themselves. So what if he's arrogant? Without strength, he can only show off his mouth. Today, he offended Zhao Duanxiao. He's already a dead man. Forget it. Who cares about him? He's a dying man. Why bother with him? Let's hurry up and search for mysterious items. Let's see if there are any extremely valuable ones. The group of people discussed for a while and then dispersed. They continued to wander around the mysterious treasure pavilion. Young master, there's a golden bamboo leaf over there. It can be used to refine earth-level elixirs. Master Mu guided Zhao Duanxiao to continue searching for various mysterious items. Just as Zhao Duanxiao was about to go up and buy it, another figure beat him to it. This figure was Chu Fengmian. Chu Fengmian had been walking the same path as Zhao Duanxiao. Wherever Zhao Duanxiao went, Chu Fengmian would follow. Along the way, Master Mu found some mysterious items. Before he could point them out, they were all bought by Chu Fengmian. When it came to recognizing these mysterious items, Master Mu was not Chu Fengmian's opponent. One must know that Chu Fengmian had read countless ancient books in his previous life to find a way to cure his body. Chu Fengmian had seen all the mysterious items here. Naturally, he could distinguish them with a glance. He dared to buy them before Zhao Duanxiao. Chu Fengmian, you're courting death. Chapter 283. This was already the 8th mystical item that Chu Fengmian had snatched away. Although these mystical items weren't too precious, Zhao Duanxiao's heart had long since gone mad with anger after being snatched away again and again. Zhao Duanxiao hadn't bought a single mystical item since coming to the mysterious treasure pavilion. He paid a huge price to invite Master Mu. He originally planned to stroll around the mysterious treasure pavilion and look for a gift for his father. But now, Chu Fengmian's appearance made him return empty-handed. If it weren't for the fact that cultivators couldn't attack in the mysterious treasure pavilion, Zhao Duanxiao would have already killed Chu Fengmian countless times. When had he, the second young master of the family Zhao, ever received such anger? Even the countless big shots in the Nine Cauldron ancient city were extremely polite to him. But today, a nobody like Chu Fengmian had angered him to the point of going mad. What's wrong? You can't beat me, so you've gone mad with anger? If you have the strength to be angry, why don't you look at these mystical items? If you end up returning empty-handed, it won't look good. Chu Fengmian laughed loudly, not caring about Zhao Duanxiao's anger. Was Chu Fengmian doing this on purpose? Of course. Zhao Duanxiao had offended Chu Fengmian, so Chu Fengmian had no reason to let him off. Since there was no way to teach him a lesson, then he'd change the method. For example, he'd let Zhao Duanxiao return empty-handed and let him see countless mystical items fall into Chu Fengmian's hands. Master Mu, is there really no way to snatch the mystical items from that brat? Seeing Chu Fengmian arrogantly leave, the anger on Zhao Duanxiao's face was about to bleed. He was angered to the limit. The most excessive thing was that Chu Fengmian was now swaggering in front of him, buying countless mystical items in front of him, while he could only look at Chu Fengmian anxiously. There was no way at all. Now, the one who could only brag became him. If it were outside, Zhao Duanxiao had 10,000 ways to take revenge. But in the mysterious treasure pavilion, he had no way at all. The pavilion master of the mysterious treasure pavilion wasn't someone he could offend. So much so that he was about to die from anger, yet he had no way to deal with Chu Fengmian. Young Master Zhao, this kid is extremely strange. It's not that I don't want to buy him. It's just that whenever I see something that catches my eye, this kid will buy it before I can even touch it. Hearing Zhao Duanxiao's words, Grandmaster Mu felt extremely helpless. He was also a master appraiser of his generation. Now that he was being suppressed by a junior, he was extremely furious. No matter what item he wanted, Chu Fengmian would rush to buy it in front of him even if he didn't show it. It was as if Chu Fengmian had already seen through all the mystical items present and was deliberately waiting for them to buy them in front of them. It's simply too strange. Grandmaster Mu couldn't help but curse. How could he know all the treasures in the mysterious treasure pavilion? As one of the top appraisers in the Qin Empire, he could only name less than half of the items in the Mystic Treasures Pavilion, and the number of items he truly understood was less than 1/3. A young brat actually knew more than he did. This was simply impossible. This caused Grandmaster Mu to feel extremely depressed in his heart. Junior, do you dare to make a bet with this old man? When Chu Fengmian once again dared to buy a mystical item in front of them, Grandmaster Mu finally couldn't bear it anymore and angrily said to Chu Fengmian, "It seems like you're very knowledgeable. Do you dare to make a bet with this old man today?" "Oh? What are we betting on?" Hearing Grandmaster Mu's words, Chu Fengmian turned his head with a smile in his eyes. He originally came here to target Zhao Duanxiao and Grandmaster Mu, to make them return empty-handed. However, since Grandmaster Mu wanted to make a bet, Chu Fengmian would naturally accompany him. How could he not eat a piece of fatty meat that was delivered to him? Chu Fengmian knew all the mystical items in the mysterious treasure pavilion like the back of his hand. Now, Chu Fengmian wanted to see what this Grandmaster Mu was going to bet on. "We'll bet on mystical items." Grandmaster Mu coldly snorted and loudly said while pointing at a huge rock that was as tall as a person. "Let's bet on what this huge rock in front of us is. Whoever guesses correctly wins the bet." Chu Fengmian glanced over and saw the huge rock that Grandmaster Mu was pointing at. This huge rock was as tall as a person and looked no different from an ordinary rock. However, under the sunlight, a strange blood-red pattern appeared on this huge rock. It was extremely enchanting. Although it had an extremely enchanting appearance, this huge rock did not have any spiritual energy. However, if one looked at it, they would be able to sense something strange about it. This trace of strangeness rose from the heart and was extremely strange. In the mysterious treasure pavilion, this huge rock had been placed there for many years and no one could tell what it was. Hearing this bet, many people in the mysterious treasure pavilion could not help but gather around to watch the show. "Sure, but what are we betting on?" Chu Fengmian looked at Grandmaster Mu and laughed. This Chu will not accept a bet without a bet. What bet are you talking about? Grandmaster Mu disdainfully said after hearing Chu Fengmian's words. If this old man says that I'm afraid you won't be able to take it out and use it as an excuse to escape, then today, you'll be the one to tell me what the bet is. Hearing Grandmaster Mu's words, Chu Fengmian's eyes lit up. It seemed like a big fish had taken the bait. Although Chu Fengmian had a lot of wealth now, who would complain about having too much wealth? If he could swindle a fortune from Grandmaster Mu, Chu Fengmian would be even happier. This Grandmaster Mu was a half-saint and an appraiser master. He definitely had a lot of wealth. This Chu is just an ordinary person. Since you want to bet, why don't we bet on the 9-cauldron pill? Chu Fengmian laughed and said. His words immediately caused the crowd to burst into laughter. 9-cauldron pill? I thought it was a bet. He's actually betting on the 9-cauldron pill? The bet in the mysterious treasure pavilion should at least be some rare items, right? He actually wants to bet on a pill. Forget it. Looking at that kid, he doesn't look like someone who has a lot of rare items. Let's just watch the show. Many people laughed and said. Even Grandmaster Mu laughed when he heard it. He thought Chu Fengmian was going to bet on something, but it turned out to be the most ordinary 9-cauldron pill. In the 9-cauldron ancient city, the 9-cauldron pill could be said to be a casual pill. Although Grandmaster Mu was not rich, he could still take out a few million 9-cauldron pill. How much do you want to bet? This old man will bet with you. Chapter 284. How much wealth could a martial artist at the first level of the wind-controlling realm have? It would be great if he could save 10 million 9-cauldron pills if he lived frugally. 10 million 9-cauldron pills was nothing to Master Mu. Is that so? I won't bet much, just 1 billion. Chu Fengmian said softly with a smile on his face. 1 billion. As soon as the word came out, countless people's faces became extremely strange. It was strange, not shock. Could it be that this brat has lost his mind and gone crazy? It's possible. How normal can someone who dares to offend young Master Zhao be? 1 billion 9-cauldron pills, what kind of concept was that? Not to mention a wind-controlling realm martial artist, even a saint might not be able to take it out. Chu Fengmian said he wanted to bet 1 billion 9-cauldron pills. This was simply crazy talk. How much? Master Mu was stunned for a moment before he asked again. He thought he had heard wrongly. Didn't I say it before? 1 billion 9-cauldron pills. Chu Fengmian sneered and repeated it again. Kid, we don't have time to waste with you. If you want to bet, then bet. If you don't dare to bet, then get lost. Zhao Duanxiao said coldly. 1 billion 9-cauldron pills? Was he fooling a fool? Even as the second son of Zhao Wudi, he didn't have that much wealth. That's right, kid. I want to bet with you. If you don't want to, then just give up. Don't waste time here. Grandmaster Mu also sneered. In his opinion, Chu Fengmian's current actions were simply stalling for time. It was even a sign of weakness. It was as if he didn't dare to bet. You must think that I can't take out 1 billion 9-cauldron pills? Chu Fengmian smiled slightly. Suddenly, he waved his hand. 9-cauldron pills suddenly flew out and turned into a long river of pills. It was densely packed with 9-cauldron pills. It directly turned into a long river. No one could see how many 9-cauldron pills there were. But there were at least hundreds of millions. What? The discussion among the crowd came to an abrupt halt. Their eyes widened as if they had just seen a ghost. Chu Fengmian could actually take out 1 billion 9-cauldron pills? Wasn't he bluffing? Was Chu Fengmian really going to bet 1 billion 9-cauldron pills with Grandmaster Mu? That was 1 billion 9-cauldron pills, a total of 1 billion. This was not a few million, but tens of millions. 1 billion 9-cauldron pills. These people had never seen such a huge amount of wealth in their entire lives. Even if they had to die for 1 billion 9 cauldron pills, they were willing. Even Grandmaster Mu and Grandmaster Mu, who had wanted to ridicule Zhao Duanxiao earlier, were stunned. They stared blankly at the sky until Chu Fengmian withdrew the medicinal pill river. Only then did the two of them slowly come to their senses. What? Grandmaster Mu can't take out 1 billion 9 cauldron pills? Chu Fengmian pretended to be surprised. Didn't Master Mu say that I can bet as much as I want? What? You can't take out a mere 1 billion 9 cauldron pills? Chu Fengmian's words were extremely casual, as if 1 billion 9 cauldron pills were nothing to him. Master Mu, if you don't have 1 billion, how about 900 million or 800 million? Chu Fengmian continued. When Grandmaster Mu heard these words, his face turned ugly as if he had eaten feces. He had been full of confidence and wanted to mess with Chu Fengmian, but he hadn't expected Chu Fengmian to really take out 1 billion 9 cauldron pills. That was 1 billion 9 cauldron pills. Grandmaster Mu's lifetime wealth wasn't that much. Where did this kid come from? He's so strange. Grandmaster Mu looked at Chu Fengmian with jealousy. 1 billion 9 cauldron pills? Anyone would be jealous of Chu Fengmian. However, he was Master Mu. His words were like spilled water. There was no way he could take them back. If he, a master appraiser, didn't dare to gamble today, then he wouldn't have the face to continue living in the 9 Cauldron ancient city or the entire Qin Empire. Especially when Chu Fengmian was being overbearing and had forced him into a dead end. Let's gamble then. Do you think this old man is afraid of a brat like you? Chu Fengmian looked at Grandmaster Mu and said apologetically. Cut the crap. Take out 1 billion 9 cauldron pills first. Otherwise, if you lose the gamble and run away, I'll suffer a great loss. Grandmaster Mu was infuriated by these words. Grandmaster Mu wondered if he would be angered to death by Chu Fengmian today. 1 billion 9 cauldron pills? He couldn't even take out 100 million 9 cauldron pills, let alone 1 billion. No ordinary person would run around with a pile of 9 cauldron pills every day. I don't have that many 9 cauldron pills, but I have countless priceless treasures. I'm willing to gamble. Grandmaster Mu snorted coldly. He wasn't afraid of Chu Fengmian at all. As one of the top appraisers in the Qin Empire, no one could surpass him. Therefore, he was willing to gamble with Chu Fengmian today even if he had to go bankrupt. You talk too much. Take it out first. You've all seen my 9 cauldron pills. If you want to gamble, take out enough capital first. Chu Fengmian looked at Grandmaster Mu with interest, and laughed inwardly. This Grandmaster Mu really was a big fish. If Chu Fengmian won the gamble, he would have earned 1 billion 9 cauldron pills. 1 billion 9 cauldron pills was equivalent to the entire treasure storehouse of Grand Emperor Richlush. Fine, I'll take them out. Snorting coldly, Grandmaster Mu pulled out a host of bizarre items from his spatial ring. Some were medicinal ingredients, some were medicinal pills, some were spirit medicines, and some were even wondrous items of heaven and earth. As a Grandmaster appraiser, Grandmaster Mu was used to buying and selling items like these, and the number of items he had on hand was shocking. Tiger Power Grass. It's nothing special. Its medicinal strength is mediocre. It's only worth 1 million 9 cauldron pills. Black Enigma Jade. It's worth 5 million 9 cauldron pills. This Ice Lotus pill is pretty good. It's from ancient times, and is worth 10 million 9 cauldron pills. And this Outer Heaven crystal. It's about the size of a finger, but worth 50 million 9 cauldron pills. Chu Fengmian muttered under his breath as he watched Grandmaster Mu take out the ingredients and pills one by one. Every time he called out a price, it was almost as if he were calculating the value of each item. After all, Chu Fengmian was going to bet 1 billion 9 cauldron pills. If Grandmaster Mu couldn't come up with something worth 1 billion 9 cauldron pills, then what was he going to bet with? Seeing Chu Fengmian mumbling to himself, Master Mu was originally extremely angry. However, when he heard the price, a trace of surprise flashed through his eyes. The price Chu Fengmian was calling out was the exact value of each item. In other words, Chu Fengmian knew all of the items Grandmaster Mu was bringing out, and knew exactly how much they were worth. What a strange kid. I can't believe he knows about so many items. Chapter 285. I'll let you be arrogant for a while. When you lose the bet, 1,000,000,009 cauldron pills will be mine. Master Mu thought excitedly, and his eyes became greedy. 1,000,000,009 cauldron pills was within Master Mu's reach. How could he not be excited? What's wrong? Have you taken everything? Chu Fengmian couldn't help but twitch his mouth when he saw Master Mu stop. I'll give you 700 million 9 cauldron pills. You're still short of 300 million. It's just 1,000,000,009 cauldron pills. Don't tell me Master Mu can't take it out? Kid, don't be arrogant. Of course I can take out 1,000,000,009 cauldron pills. Master Mu was even more anxious when he heard Chu Fengmian's mockery. This was the best opportunity for him to get 1,000,000,009 cauldron pills. If he were to fly away like this today, he would really want to cry but have no tears. He had to gather 300 million 9 cauldron pills. Young Master Zhao, you can't lend me 300 million 9 cauldron pills first. Helpless, the only person Master Mu could think of was Zhao Duanxiao, who was standing next to him. As long as you lend me 300 million 9 cauldron pills, I'll pay you back double after I win. How about 600 million 9 cauldron pills? Zhao Duanxiao's expression became silent when he heard Master Mu's words. He didn't speak for a long time, which made Master Mu even more anxious. Young Master Zhao, don't you trust me? I promise that even if I lose today, I'll pay you back, Master Mu said anxiously. Grandmaster Mu said anxiously. His top priority now was to gather 1,000,000,009 cauldron pills to gamble with Chu Fengmian. Zhao Duanxiao's hesitation made Master Mu even more anxious. Master Mu, it's not that I don't want to lend you, but I don't have 300 million 9 cauldron pills. Zhao Duanxiao hesitated for a while before saying helplessly. I don't have any valuable items on me, so even if I want to lend them to Master Mu, there's nothing I can do. Borrowing 300 million 9 cauldron pills and paying back 600 million 9 cauldron pills was like a pie falling from the sky for Zhao Duanxiao. He trusted Grandmaster Mu's ability to appraise treasures. Otherwise, he would not have spent so much money to invite Grandmaster Mu. However, he was unable to take out the remaining 300 million 9 cauldron pills. Master Mu's face turned pale when he heard Zhao Duanxiao's words. However, he quickly thought of something and whispered to Zhao Duanxiao. Young Master Zhao, don't you have the 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass? As long as you take out that 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass, it will be worth 300 million 9 cauldron pills. Master Mu said excitedly. Zhao Duanxiao had the 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass that he bought from the Twilight Pavilion. However, this 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass is something that Father wants. I only brought Father to the Twilight Pavilion to buy it once. If I can't bring it back, I'll be finished. Zhao Duanxiao said with some hesitation. Although he was incomparably arrogant, in front of his father, Zhao Wudi, he was simply like a little chick, never daring to make a sound. This 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass was specifically ordered by Zhao Wudi to buy it. Zhao Duanxiao did not even dare to think about the punishment if he failed to buy it back. Young Master Zhao, don't worry. This old man has absolute confidence in winning. This 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass is just a bet. In the end, we will get it back. After this matter is settled, this old man is willing to give 500 million 9 cauldron pills to young Master Zhao. How about that? Master Mu said hurriedly, 500 million 9 cauldron pills. Zhao Duanxiao was silent for a while before he finally opened his mouth. Alright, then I'll believe in Master Mu this time. Zhao Duanxiao carefully took out a red spiritual herb from his empty ring. This red spiritual herb looked inconspicuous, but the faint dragon's might that was emitted from it was enough to tell that it was extraordinary. It's indeed a 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass. Seeing that 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass, Chu Fengmian's eyes lit up. What he needed the most was this 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass. Chu Fengmian's previous plan was to force the 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass out of this bet. Now, it seemed that Chu Fengmian had succeeded. This Zhao Duanxiao really took out the 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass. Many thanks, young Master Zhao. Master Mu took the 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass and hurriedly thanked him. Then, he walked towards Chu Fengmian and placed the dragon blood grass on the table. Kid, it's finally enough this time. Master Mu roared. He was almost driven mad by Chu Fengmian. Now, he could finally let out a long sigh of relief. The 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass is worth around 250 million 9 cauldron pills. However, seeing that Master Mu can't take out anything valuable, I'll reluctantly let it go. As for the 500 million 9 cauldron pills, I don't care. Chu Fengmian glanced at the 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass and said calmly. This sentence almost made Master Mu gasp for breath. It was as if Chu Fengmian had given him a gift. Kid, let's see how long you can be so arrogant. Let's see how ugly you'll cry when you lose. Master Mu roared madly in his heart. However, he pretended to be extremely calm on the surface. Now that the stakes have been lowered, the bet should start soon. However, there should be someone to be a witness. Master Mu looked at Chu Fengmian and said coldly. I think, how about letting young Master Zhao be a witness? As the second young master of General Zhao, it's not a problem for him to be a witness. Zhao Duanxiao as a witness? He's not worthy. I don't trust him. What if he runs away? Hearing Master Mu's words, Chu Fengmian curled his lips and said disdainfully. Chu Fengmian's eyes swept across the crowd and suddenly said to the crowd. How about we have Pavilion Master Mu bear witness to this? Oh? This old man will be the witness? An old laughter rang out, and Pavilion Master Mu suddenly walked out from the crowd. That's fine. It's an honor for this old man to be the witness for this billion-dollar bet. A billion-dollar bet in the entire Qin Empire was something that wouldn't happen even once in 100 years. Pavilion Master Mu also wanted to join in the fun. All right, I agree with Pavilion Master Mu being the witness. Master Mu nodded his head. With Pavilion Master Mu's identity, he was indeed qualified to be the witness. Kid, let's make the conditions clear. Let's guess the true identity of this mystical item. That's right. The 1 billion 9 cauldron pills will belong to whoever wins. Master Mu looked at Chu Fengmian and said fiercely. It won't be good if someone reneges on the bet when the time comes. 1 billion 9 cauldron pills isn't a big number to me. It doesn't matter if I lose. I won't go back on my words. Chu Fengmian said calmly. Chapter 286. Chu Fengmian spoke. With a wave of his hand, 1 billion 9 cauldron pills flew out and landed in the hands of Pavilion Master Mu. Pavilion Master Mu was the witness who was responsible for looking after the wealth worth 2 billion 9 cauldron pills. He would give the wealth to whoever won the bet. Grandmaster Mu did not hesitate either. He immediately handed over all the mysterious items to Pavilion Master Mu. In an instant, he had placed all of his assets into the deal. The rules of this gambling fight are very simple. There is a total of 5 minutes. Whoever manages to identify what this mysterious object is can transmit its name to me through voice transmission. After which, I will explain the use of this mysterious object. Whoever is right will be the winner. Pavilion Master Mu said. This kind of bet was the simplest bet in the mysterious treasure pavilion. It was to identify the origin and name of the mysterious object. Whoever was right would be the winner. Although it was just a simple bet, it had attracted countless people to come and watch. Many people who were not in the mysterious treasure pavilion came to watch the crazy bet. 1 billion 9 cauldron pills per person, 2 billion 9 cauldron pills in total. 2 billion 9 cauldron pills. This was something they would never see in their lifetime. Now, it was a bet. Countless people came to watch and they were all excited. Begin. As Pavilion Master Mu shouted, the 5-minute countdown began. Grandmaster Mu walked over in a dignified manner. He looked at the rock that was as tall as a man and examined it carefully. He did indeed have the demeanor of a master appraiser. On the other hand, Chu Fengmian looked extremely strange. Chu Fengmian just stood there and glanced at the rock. Then, he closed his eyes quietly as if he was resting. How could he know the origin of the mysterious object just by glancing at it from afar? Seeing that Chu Fengmian did not take the initiative to take a look, the crowd below started to discuss. What is the background of this kid? He dared to bet 1,000,000,009 cauldron pills, but now he is just standing there. Could it be that this kid just wanted to scare Master Mu? But now he can't back down. He doesn't know how to appraise. I don't think so. I saw him compete with Master Mu a few times just now, and he even won. That's probably because Grandmaster Mu doesn't want to be calculative with a junior. How can a little fellow beat Grandmaster Mu in appraisal? Countless people were talking to each other and looking at Chu Fengmian. Some were jealous, some were disdainful, and some were sneering. However, no one believed that Chu Fengmian could win against Master Mu despite all the discussions. The art of appraisal was not the same as martial arts. With talent and fortuitous encounters, one could take shortcuts. In order to learn the art of appraisal, one must first read extensively. Chu Fengmian was disguised as a middle-aged man, at most 30 or 40 years old. How many books could he have read? Master Mu was a half-step saint who had lived for 200 or 300 years. Their knowledge and experience were not on the same level. Therefore, no one thought that Chu Fengmian would win. After all, they couldn't have guessed that inside Chu Fengmian's young body was an antique that had lived for almost 1,000 years. In terms of experience, Chu Fengmian wasn't afraid of anyone. Time's up. 5 minutes passed quickly. In these 5 minutes, Chu Fengmian stood motionless with his hands behind his back, as if he had taken the initiative to admit defeat. He's going to win. The most excited one was Zhao Duanxiao. Now that Grandmaster Mu had won, he could get a share of 500,000,009 cauldron pills. Moreover, he could give Chu Fengmian a slap in the face. Now was the time to slap Chu Fengmian's face. Chu Fengmian had been targeting him in every aspect of the mysterious treasure pavilion. Little fellow, you're still too inexperienced to fight with me. Grandmaster Mu also walked back from the giant rock. He looked at Chu Fengmian and said disdainfully. His face was full of confidence. Chu Fengmian, on the other hand, was indifferent. Even in the face of Grandmaster Mu's provocation, Chu Fengmian was as calm as ever. In Grandmaster Mu's eyes, Chu Fengmian was admitting defeat. How could Chu Fengmian be so calm with his character just now? There was only one possibility, and that was that Chu Fengmian was bound to lose. Chu Fengmian didn't have any confidence, which was why he was so calm. The two of you secretly told me the name of this mysterious object through your spiritual consciousness. Pavilion Master Mu said aloud. Chu Fengmian and Grandmaster Mu transmitted the two names to Pavilion Master Mu at the same time. Oh? Pavilion Master Mu was stunned when he heard the two completely different names. Then, he couldn't help but glance at Grandmaster Mu. This action made the countless people present even more certain that Grandmaster Mu was bound to win. This brat is really here to give away his wealth. Unfortunately, why didn't he bet with me? If he did, I would bet with him even if I had to stake all my fortune. A spectator couldn't help but reveal a greedy expression. 1,000,009 cauldron pills. How great would it be if he could get it? 1,000,009 cauldron pills was enough to establish a sect outside. Stop dreaming. Even if you were to bet with you, do you think you can take out 1,000,009 cauldron pills even if you stake all your fortune? Another cultivator snorted coldly. Let's watch the battle first. What's there to watch? Grandmaster Mu is bound to win. Is there any suspense? The two of you, who will tell me what this mystical item is first? Pavilion Master Mu looked at Chu Fengmian and Grandmaster Mu and asked. The content of the battle wasn't just to say the name of the mystical item, but also its origin and use. Otherwise, it wouldn't be considered a win. Grandmaster Mu laughed confidently and said to Chu Fengmian. Let the younger generation say it, lest they say that this old man is bullying the younger generation. You should say it first, lest you lose the qualifications to say it later. Chu Fengmian looked at Grandmaster Mu and shook his head. It was as if Grandmaster Mu's words were definitely wrong. Countless people couldn't help but laugh when they saw this scene. This brat probably can't even say it. Even if he can't say it, can he make up a few sentences? Why must he insist on keeping up appearances? Forget it, it's meaningless to let him say it. Let's just listen to Grandmaster Mu. This rock, which was as tall as a person, had been in the mysterious treasure pavilion for countless years, but no one had been able to identify its origin. Many of the people present also wanted to see exactly what that stone was. This rock is called the Pyryang Dragon Stone. Chapter 287. This Pyryang Dragon Stone is one of the best among the heavenly wondrous objects. According to the records, it's a wondrous object that was born in outer space. There are a total of 5 blood runes on this boulder. It's the symbol of the Pyryang Dragon Stone. The blood runes on the boulder are the purest Pyryang spiritual energy. The effect of the Pyryang Dragon Stone is to replenish a warrior's blood and chi. It can even replenish a warrior's blood and chi. It's a rare wondrous object. Although this boulder looks ordinary, it's just sleeping. Once it's activated by spiritual energy, it'll show the true appearance of the Pyryang Dragon Stone. After Master Mu finished his explanation, he sneered at Chu Fengmian. There were very few records of the Pyryang Dragon Stone in the ancient books because it didn't appear many times in the entire 9 regions. How many wondrous objects born in outer space could fall into the 9 regions? Therefore, even if an ordinary person had heard of this name, they wouldn't know about the records of the Pyryang Dragon Stone. Grandmaster Mu had once coincidentally seen the records of this Pyryang Dragon Stone in an ancient cave dwelling. The boulder in front of him was almost exactly the same as the Pyryang Dragon Stone in the records. Therefore, Master Mu dared to bet with Chu Fengmian with confidence. Kid, you know the origin of this boulder, right? Master Mu couldn't help but provoke Chu Fengmian. He was extremely excited. Soon, he would be able to obtain Chu Fengmian's 9 cauldron pills. Such a fortune made him tremble when he thought about it. The Pyryang Dragon Stone is actually this wondrous object. Many of us have never heard of the Pyryang Dragon Stone. Master Mu even knows about such a rare wondrous object. As expected of a master appraiser. It seems that the kid can't appraise it. It's normal, but that young man is too arrogant. He thought that just because he read a few ancient books and knew about some wondrous objects, he dared to challenge Master Mu and bet 9 cauldron. It's time for him to pay the price. Many people in the crowd were enlightened. Then, their voices were filled with admiration. The Pyryang Dragon Stone was a wondrous object that many people had never heard of. Master Mu was able to appraise it. His experience was indeed frightening. Among everyone present, even Pavilion Master Mu couldn't help but nod his head. Even he hadn't thought about the origin of this huge rock at first. Now that he heard Grandmaster Mu's words, he suddenly understood. This huge rock was indeed extremely similar to the Pyryang Dragon Stone in the records. Only Chu Fengmian remained standing in place with a cold smile on his face. His eyes were filled with disdain as he looked at Grandmaster Mu. Kid, just admit defeat obediently. Look at you, you can't say anything. Why are you still not giving up? Seeing the look in Chu Fengmian's eyes, Master Mu thought that Chu Fengmian was unwilling to give up, so he laughed and mocked him. That's right. Don't force yourself. Kneel down and apologize to Grandmaster Mu right now. You can even ask for his forgiveness. He'll give you less 9 cauldron pills and leave you a few million. What do you think? Zhao Duanxiao said with a hearty laugh. With 1,000,000,009 cauldron pills in his hands, he was in a great mood. Since even Pavilion Master Mu had nodded, Master Mu's words must be true. Ha ha ha. Hearing the crowd's words, Chu Fengmian suddenly burst into laughter. He looked at Grandmaster Mu as if he was looking at a fool. I thought Grandmaster Mu had some ability, but it turns out that he's only this kind of trash. I've been looking forward to it for nothing. Kid, what did you say? Grandmaster Mu couldn't help but be furious when he heard Chu Fengmian's words. He was listening to the admiration and longing of countless people around him, and he was secretly pleased. When he heard Chu Fengmian's words, he felt like he had eaten shit. What are you laughing at? Are you going back on your word? Unfortunately, today's bet is witnessed by Pavilion Master Mu. It's useless even if you want to back out. Grandmaster Mu sneered. With Pavilion Master Mu as a witness, no one dared to break the bet in front of such a pinnacle saint. Back out? Who said I'm going back on my word? I'm afraid the one who'll back out later is you. Chu Fengmian laughed wildly as he spoke, as if he was going to laugh until his stomach hurt. What are you laughing at? Grandmaster Mu said angrily. What am I laughing at? I'm laughing at your stupidity. Chu Fengmian said mercilessly. An appraiser master is actually this kind of trash? You'd better go back and study for a few more years, lest you go around swindling and deceiving people. What did you say? Swindling and deceiving people? Is there something wrong with what I said? Grandmaster Mu laughed when he heard Chu Fengmian's words. Even Pavilion Master Mu agreed with his appraisal, but Chu Fengmian actually said that he was wrong? This was simply hilarious. Even the countless people present looked at Chu Fengmian as if they were looking at a fool. Grandmaster Mu and Pavilion Master Mu had both agreed on a rare item, and he dared to question it alone. He even said that Grandmaster Mu was a liar. What did this mean? Arrogance? No. This was simply a kind of blind arrogance, and even a kind of self-deceiving behavior. Brat, stop pestering me. Pavilion Master Mu, please announce the results. Zhao Duanxiao glanced at Chu Fengmian and sneered. He thought that Chu Fengmian was just stalling for time, so he directly spoke to Pavilion Master Mu. Young man, it's okay to lose once, but don't pester endlessly. Pavilion Master Mu also spoke leisurely, but there was a lot of disappointment in his tone. Originally, Chu Fengmian had appraised a lot of rare items in Rare Treasure Pavilion, which made Pavilion Master Mu have a whole new level of respect for Chu Fengmian. However, Chu Fengmian's actions now made Pavilion Master Mu somewhat disappointed. It didn't matter if he lost a bet, but if he didn't admit it, it would be the behavior of a coward. Lost? Who said I lost? Chu Fengmian's eyes flashed with a trace of strangeness. He looked at Grandmaster Mu and pointed at the huge stone. Didn't you say that this is a pure Yang dragon stone? Then why don't you inject a trace of spiritual power and see if it will emit pure Yang spiritual power? If it does, I'll immediately kill myself in front of you. How about it? Chu Fengmian looked at Grandmaster Mu and said provocatively. You said this result, don't say you don't dare. I don't dare. It seems that you won't shed tears until you see the coffin. Then take a good look. Grandmaster Mu heard Chu Fengmian's words and sneered. He directly walked toward the huge stone and injected spiritual power into it. Chapter 288. Brat, take a look. Is this the pure Yang dragon stone? Master Mu laughed when he saw the reaction of the giant rock. This reaction was exactly the reaction of the pure Yang dragon stone. Now that there was irrefutable evidence, it was impossible for Chu Fengmian to act shamelessly. Look, it's really the pure Yang dragon stone. Yes, it's already starting to circulate its spiritual energy. It's exactly as recorded in the pure Yang dragon stone. This brat is really courting death. He even dared to question Master Mu. Now that he's being slapped in the face, he can only be considered as asking for it. Let's see what else this brat has to say now. Countless people were discussing spiritedly as they looked at Chu Fengmian and sneered. An unknown brat daring to challenge Master Mu was an idiotic act in itself. Young man, the world has changed. There's no need to struggle anymore. This mystical item is indeed the pure Yang dragon stone. This old man has read the records and it's exactly the same as the pure Yang dragon stone. You've lost this bet. Pavilion Master Mu looked at Chu Fengmian and tried to persuade him. In his opinion, Chu Fengmian was just unwilling to accept defeat. Lost? Chu Fengmian revealed a smile on the corner of his mouth. The time has come. Just as Pavilion Master Mu was about to say something, a miserable cry suddenly attracted his attention. The scream came from the direction of Grandmaster Mu. Master Mu's body suddenly twitched violently. The spiritual energy in his body went berserk. What's going on? Countless people looked at Master Mu. They didn't know what happened to Master Mu. Brat, what did you do to Master Mu? Zhao Duanxiao looked at Chu Fengmian and roared angrily. Looking at Chu Fengmian's calm appearance, it was very likely that Chu Fengmian was behind it. What did I do? He's just inexperienced and inexperienced. He's courting death. What does it have to do with me? Hearing Zhao Duanxiao's words, Chu Fengmian sneered. Who told you that this mystical item is the Purian Dragon Stone? This mystical item is actually the Extremine Demonic Stone. Although it's extremely similar to the Purian Dragon Stone, there are actually different things. Now that he's infected by the Extremine Magic Stone, he's already half dead. If you don't hurry and save him, you'll see a dead man in a while. Extremine Magic Stone? Hearing this name, many people present had puzzled expressions in their eyes. Clearly, they had never heard of it before. Only Pavilion Master Mu's expression changed greatly. His figure moved abruptly as he charged towards Grandmaster Mu and grabbed him with his hand. Scram! Master Mu roared and directly attacked. A wave of spiritual energy blasted towards Pavilion Master Mu. Countless people were dumbfounded by this sudden turn of events. What the hell is going on? Why did Master Mu suddenly go crazy? Only Chu Fengmian himself knew what was going on. The strange object in front of him was actually not the legendary Purian Dragon Stone, but a strange object that was completely different from the Purian Dragon Stone, the Extremine Devil Stone. The Extremine Demon Stone was also born in the outer world. It looked very similar to the Purian Dragon Stone, but its effect was completely different. The Purian Dragon Stone was a treasure that everyone wanted to get their hands on, but the Extremine Demon Stone was something that countless people avoided. The Extremine Demon Stone could absorb people's blood and chi, causing them to fall into a frenzy. Anyone who touched it would not have a good ending. Master Mu had now fallen into a frenzy. Seal! Pavilion Master Mu was indeed a pinnacle saint. He threw a palm strike at Master Mu and directly controlled him. At the same time, he struck another palm at the Extremine Demon Stone. Immediately, a wave of spiritual energy came from the Extremine Demon Stone, forcing Pavilion Master Mu to retreat. Use your spiritual energy to seal the Extremine Demon Stone. Seeing that Pavilion Master Mu was struggling, Chu Fengmian reminded him. Chu Fengmian had a grudge against Grandmaster Mu, but he did not have any grudges with Pavilion Master Mu. Now that the Extremine Demon Stone's power had erupted, it would not benefit anyone, so it was better to seal it temporarily. Hearing Chu Fengmian's words, Pavilion Master Mu hurriedly struck out restrictions to seal the Extremine Demon Stone. Then, it gradually calmed down. The spiritual energy that had been activated was not much, and the Extremine Demon Stone did not erupt with too much power, so it was temporarily suppressed. Everyone present involuntarily sucked in a breath of cold air. They had almost met with a calamity. If the Extremine Demon Stone had erupted with all its power, everyone's blood and chi would have been sucked dry. Even Pavilion Master Mu, a peak saint, would not have been able to escape. Now, Grandmaster Mu had become a withered old man. It seemed that he did not have many days left to live. The Extremine Demon Stone had sucked away all his blood and chi. Many thanks. After sealing the Extremine Demon Stone, Pavilion Master Mu brought Grandmaster Mu back. Looking at Chu Fengmian, he could not help but express his gratitude. Without Chu Fengmian's reminder, he would not have been able to do anything to the Extremine Demon Stone. After all, the Extremine Demon Stone was too rare. It had only appeared a few times in the entire 9 regions. It was even rarer than the Purian Dragon Stone. It was rare to even see one. How would he know how to deal with it? If Chu Fengmian had not read countless ancient books and knew about the two great magical stones of heaven and earth, he would not have recognized the extreming demon stone. It's fine. But it's time to honor the bet. Chu Fengmian said indifferently. He had made a bet with Grandmaster Mu for the sake of the bet. Now, the 1,000-year dragon bloodgrass should be in Chu Fengmian's hands. Of course, the bet will be honored. Pavilion Master Mu glanced at Chu Fengmian, then handed over the countless magical items that Grandmaster Mu had taken out to Chu Fengmian. The result of the bet was obvious. If Chu Fengmian had not pointed it out, everyone present would have died. Pavilion Master Mu, you can't. Seeing that the magical items were about to fall into Chu Fengmian's hands, Zhao Duanqiao shouted loudly. This 1,000-year dragon bloodgrass is what my father wants. If you give it to this kid, my father will blame you. Seeing that the 1,000-year dragon bloodgrass was about to fall into Chu Fengmian's hands, Zhao Duanqiao panicked and tried to threaten him. However, he had forgotten that Pavilion Master Mu was also a peak saint. He would not be afraid of his father, Zhao Wudi. Before Zhao Duanqiao's voice died away, a powerful pressure fell, causing him to break out in cold sweat. Even if your father is here, he would not dare to speak to me like this. Get lost. Chapter 289. Zhao Duanqiao and Master Mu left resentfully. The biggest winner of the bet was Chu Fengmian. This Grandmaster Mu has given us a huge sum of money. Chu Fengmian was overjoyed as he looked at the strange items. Many of these strange items were what Chu Fengmian needed to refine the Scarlet Flame Sword. The 1,000-year dragon bloodgrass was what Chu Fengmian needed the most. Once he refined it, Chu Fengmian was confident that he could improve his strength to another level. Where are you from? What's your name? I've been studying strange items all my life. I want to be friends with you. Pavilion Master Mu said as he handed the strange items to Chu Fengmian. This sentence caused everyone present to go crazy when they heard it. Who was Pavilion Master Mu? The Pavilion Master of the wonderful Treasure Pavilion was a pinnacle saint. He was considered one of the top experts in the Qin Empire. Even the royal family of the Qin nation and the Grand Marshal of the Armed Forces, Zhao Wudi, respected him. Ordinary cultivators would not be able to curry favor with him. Now, he actually took the initiative to be friends with a Wind Resistance Realm warrior. This made countless people jealous and crazy. Chu Han, if Pavilion Master Mu doesn't know about the strange items, you can come to me. Chu Fengmian said indifferently. This answer made countless people curse in anger. It was a good time to build a good relationship with Pavilion Master Mu, but Chu Fengmian was so cold. If he could build a good relationship with Pavilion Master Mu and become a guest of Rare Treasure Pavilion, he could do whatever he wanted in the Qin Empire. Not many people would dare to offend him. However, it was impossible for Chu Fengmian to take the initiative to curry favor with Pavilion Master Mu. What kind of person was Chu Fengmian? In his previous life, he would never take the initiative to speak to someone like Pavilion Master Mu. Now, Chu Fengmian was willing to make friends with Pavilion Master Mu because he was extremely fair. As for pleasing him, there was no one in this world that was worthy of Chu Fengmian's flattery. Chu Fengmian was arrogant and wouldn't flatter others. Master Chu, you're a straightforward person. Pavilion Master Mu wasn't angry when he heard Chu Fengmian's reply. He only wanted to make friends with Chu Fengmian because he wanted to research wondrous items with him. He wasn't interested in anything else. Pavilion Master Mu, since I was the one who identified the Extreming Devil Stone, I will buy it. Chu Fengmian glanced at the Extreming Devil Stone and suddenly said. What? You want to buy the Extreming Magic Stone? When Pavilion Master Mu heard that Chu Fengmian was going to buy the Extreming Devil Stone, she asked in doubt. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. You should know the dangers of the Extreming Devil Stone. Not only will it bring no benefits to a cultivator, but it will also bring about countless disasters. This old man originally wanted to completely suppress the Extreming Devil Stone. Although it has terrifying power, it is not something a cultivator can control. Pavilion Master Mu immediately stopped him. It wasn't that he was unwilling to sell the Extreming Devil Stone. To him, the Extreming Devil Stone was of little value. It was tasteless, but it was a pity to throw it away. Although it was an extremely precious wondrous item, it didn't bring any benefits to a cultivator. That's right. I have some use for the Extreming Devil Stone. Since it is a wondrous item in the unique treasure pavilion, I have the qualifications to buy it. Chu Fengmian said. The Extreming Devil Stone might not be useful to others, but it was still very useful to Chu Fengmian. Alright, I will sell the Extreming Devil Stone to you. According to the rules of the unique treasure pavilion, take out 100,000 9 cauldron pills. Pavilion Master Mu glanced at Chu Fengmian and nodded. According to the rules of the unique treasure pavilion, the Extreming Devil Stone should belong to Chu Fengmian. Since Chu Fengmian knew about the Extreming Devil Stone, he should have his own use for it. Pavilion Master Mu didn't stop him. Chu Fengmian took out 100,000 9 cauldron pills and handed them to Pavilion Master Mu. Then, he carefully placed the Extreming Devil Stone into his spatial ring. While he was at it, he also placed a few restrictions on the Extreming Devil Stone to completely seal off its power. If the Extreming Devil Stone's power completely erupted, Chu Fengmian would be in great danger. Naturally, he had to be careful. After placing the Extreming Devil Stone into his spatial ring, Chu Fengmian couldn't help but smile. Being able to buy the Extreming Devil Stone with 100,000 9 cauldron pills was a huge profit. The Extreming Devil Stone was a wondrous item that was comparable to the Purion Dragon Stone. The power it contained was terrifying to an astonishing extent. As long as it could be used, it would be extremely terrifying. Chu Fengmian just happened to have the power to use the Extreming Devil Stone. The Extreming Devil Stone was much more valuable than everything he had obtained today, including the wondrous item that was worth 1 billion 9 cauldron pills. Chu Fengmian took the Extreming Devil Stone and directly left. This trip to the unique treasure pavilion had allowed Chu Fengmian to obtain many benefits. Not only did he obtain a wondrous item that was worth 1 billion 9 cauldron pills from Master Mu, but he also obtained a 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass. More importantly, he also encountered the Extreming Devil Stone. This time, Chu Fengmian had made a huge profit. It seemed like coming to the 9 Cauldron ancient city was indeed a great harvest. Chu Fengmian was thinking about this as he left. Outside the unique treasure pavilion, Zhao Duanxiao was reprimanding Master Mu. What's wrong with you? You can't even compare to a little guy. You made me obtain a 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass. When father blames you, you and I will be finished. Zhao Duanxiao roared furiously. This 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass was personally requested by his father, Zhao Wudi. He was just an errand boy who went to the Twilight Pavilion to buy it. If he couldn't bring back the dragon blood grass, he would be finished. This time, Chu Fengmian was completely hated by Zhao Duanxiao. In that Pavilion Master Mu, he actually went too far and didn't give us any face. When father passes through the life and death calamity and steps into the life and death realm, he will be the first to be dealt with. Let's see how arrogant he can be. Not only Chu Fengmian, but even Pavilion Master Mu was hated by Zhao Duanxiao. At the same time, there was also Master Mu. If Master Mu hadn't tempted him, how could he have taken out the 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass to gamble? Now that he had lost everything, he didn't even dare to go back and explain. Young Master Zhao, don't be angry. This matter hasn't reached the point of no return yet. Master Mu could only smile at the side. Now that he had lost the 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass, he couldn't explain to Zhao Wudi. He and Zhao Duanxiao were grasshoppers on the same rope. There is still a possibility of redemption. Redemption? How can it be redeemed? The 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass has already been obtained by that kid. Can he find a second one? Chapter 290. A 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass was a precious elixir that could not be found in the entire Qin Empire. Now that things had come to this, where could he go to find another 1,000-year-old dragon bloodgrass? It's not easy to find another 1,000-year-old dragon bloodgrass, but the one in the kid's hand might not be his. Master Mu suddenly said. As long as this kid leaves the rare treasure pavilion today, we'll kill him. As long as we kill him, all his treasures, including the 9 cauldron elixir and the 1,000-year-old dragon bloodgrass, will be ours. Master Mu's eyes were filled with killing intent. Chu Fengmian not only caused him to lose a treasure worth 1 billion 9 cauldron elixir, but also forced him to activate the extremely magical stone, which instantly drained half of his lifespan. Master Mu was already old and did not have much lifespan left. He originally planned to use his remaining lifespan to break through to the divine power realm. Now that the extreming devil stone was extracting his lifespan, more than half of it was gone. As a result, he would no longer have the chance to break through to the divine power realm. Master Mu blamed all of this on Chu Fengmian. Today, even if I have to risk my life, I'll kill this kid. Master Mu's face was filled with anger. Nobody dares to offend me. He's just a wind-resisting realm kid. As long as he dares to leave the rare treasure pavilion, he'll die. That's right. After killing this kid, we can get the 1,000-year-old dragon bloodgrass back. Zhao Duanxiao suddenly understood what the best way was. This kid's wealth is really frightening. It's very likely that he obtained some ancient treasure. I've already heard that his wealth was actually earned from selling a large number of spiritual weapons to the Twilight Pavilion. Now that we've killed him, not only can we get his wealth, but we can also get all his treasures. Zhao Duanxiao slapped his thigh and said. Today, we'll kill him. Young Master Zhao, this matter is a little troublesome. After all, this is the 9 Cauldron Ancient City. If we act rashly and kill this kid, the 9 Cauldron Ancient City's rules are here. If someone tracks this down, it'll be troublesome. Master Mu hesitated and said. I'm afraid that's not too appropriate. After all, the rules of the 9 Cauldron Ancient City are not easy to follow. This was what Master Mu was most worried about. The 9 Cauldron Ancient City was not like any other place. It was the largest trading center in the surrounding dozens of countries. Every place had its own rules. The 9 Cauldron Ancient City was a place of trade. Thus, no venerables were allowed to attack, let alone kill others. If the upper echelons of the 9 Cauldron Ancient City were to blame them, they would be in trouble. Humph! Even if those old men in 9 Cauldron Ancient City knew that I was the one who did it, they wouldn't dare to investigate. Now, all of them want to curry favor with my father. How could they dare to fight against us? Zhao Duanxiao said with a cold snort. Not to mention, I have a way to prevent the 9 Cauldron Ancient City from detecting me. Kill this brat. This matter is settled. We will wait outside for this brat to come out. We will follow him to a place where there are fewer people and kill him. 2 figures were hiding outside the unique treasure pavilion, waiting for Chu Fengmian to leave. Want to deal with me? Chu Fengmian had heard the entire conversation between Zhao Duanxiao and Grandmaster Mu. His consciousness had never left the two of them, because Chu Fengmian knew that the two of them wouldn't suffer for nothing. Since he dares to attack in the 9 Cauldron Ancient City, it seems like Zhao Duanxiao is really crazy. However, since they want to kill me, why don't I just kill them and lure the snake out of its hole? It will also save me a lot of trouble. Chu Fengmian thought in his heart. Chu Fengmian had thoroughly offended Zhao Duanxiao and Master Mu. There was no possibility of reconciliation. Chu Fengmian's style had always been to kill his enemies without leaving any leeway. However, in the 9 Cauldron Ancient City, it was not convenient for Chu Fengmian to attack. The rules of the 9 Cauldron Ancient City were too rigid. If Chu Fengmian killed someone in the city, he would definitely be hunted down by the upper echelons of the 9 Cauldron Ancient City. His plan would be completely ruined. Now that Zhao Duanxiao had a way to deceive the upper echelons of the 9 Cauldron Ancient City, Chu Fengmian was prepared to beat them at their own game. He would lure them out and kill them both. Zhao Duanxiao was a madman. He would do anything. Zhao Wudi behind him was a person that Chu Fengmian was extremely afraid of. Rather than being passive, it was better to take the initiative to attack. After all, the enmity had already been formed. Chu Fengmian was not afraid of Zhao Wudi. Let's go. Chu Fengmian's mind moved. He immediately left the unique treasure pavilion and walked towards the distance in a panic. That kid is coming out. Follow him. Zhao Duanxiao and Master Mu, who had been waiting at the side, immediately followed Chu Fengmian. The direction Chu Fengmian was walking towards was the direction of the Sunset Pavilion. There were a few empty alleys between the unique treasure pavilion and the Sunset Pavilion. If these two wanted to kill Chu Fengmian, they would definitely do it in these empty alleys. Chu Fengmian planned to lure them over. This is the direction back to the Sunset Pavilion. Just as I predicted, there are a few alleys along the way. Follow him and prepare to kill him halfway. Zhao Duanxiao was overjoyed. These alleys were usually unfrequented. It was the best place to make a move. Just as Chu Fengmian entered the alleyway, a strange spatial fluctuation suddenly appeared. Who is it? Who is it? Chu Fengmian pretended to panic and shouted loudly. You dare to attack in the Nine Cauldron Ancient City? Don't you care about the rules of the Nine Cauldron Ancient City? Kid, you probably never dreamed that I would dare to kill you in the Nine Cauldron Ancient City. Do you think you're safe in the Nine Cauldron Ancient City? Since you dare to oppose this young master will kill you today. Zhao Duanxiao swaggered out. Master Mu followed behind him. His cold eyes were filled with killing intent as he looked at Chu Fengmian. The rules of the Nine Cauldron Ancient City? This place is deserted. This space has been sealed by me. Even the heaven and earth great formation can't see through it. You will die today. In the palm of Zhao Duanxiao's hand, a strange compass was currently flickering with light. Chu Fengmian's eyes lit up when he saw the strange compass. Chapter 291. A spiritual weapon refined from heavenly mysterious crystal. This is really a big deal. Chu Fengmian looked at the strange compass with great joy in his eyes. Zhao Duanxiao really had a pile of treasures on him. This strange compass alone was worth at least 100 million Nine Cauldron pills. It seemed that Zhao Duanxiao was really Chu Fengmian's lucky star. First, he gave him the 1,000-year-old dragon bloodgrass. Now, he even gave him a spiritual weapon. Zhao Duanxiao took out this spiritual weapon at this time to seal the space and prevent Chu Fengmian from escaping. Once the space was sealed, not only would Chu Fengmian be unable to escape, but the two of them would also be trapped in the space. Even the Nine Cauldron Ancient City's heaven-earth formation could not see what was happening in the space. No wonder you dare to attack. It turns out that you have this spiritual weapon that can deceive the heaven-earth formation. Naturally, you have nothing to fear. Chu Fengmian said calmly. Boy, it's too late for you to say anything now. Even if you say all you want and kneel down to beg us today, you will definitely die today. Master Mu said angrily from the side. You dare to scheme against me? I will completely kill you today. Master Mu roared furiously. He activated his spiritual power and turned it into a long spear, thrusting it at Chu Fengmian. Go to hell. Spiritual energy crazily revolved. This long spear was at least 7 to 8 meters long. The spiritual energy within it was extremely dense, and was extremely terrifying. After all, Master Mu was also a half-saint. His strength was much stronger than Mo Miaohai, the deputy pavilion master of the Cold Snow Pavilion. He was not too far away from breaking through the divine power realm and stepping into the saint realm. Because of this, Chu Fengmian had destroyed his hope of becoming a saint. Now, he hated Chu Fengmian to the core. With such strength, he wouldn't be considered weak even in the Qin Empire. It was a pity that he had chosen the wrong opponent today. Facing the long spear, Chu Fengmian's eyes were full of disdain. Disdain. Looking at the long spear, Chu Fengmian did not have the slightest intention to take it seriously. A half-saint was like an ant in front of him. Everyone below the saint realm was an ant. With Chu Fengmian's current strength, he could even kill a weaker saint. Such a half-saint was inferior to an ant in front of Chu Fengmian. Chu Fengmian slowly raised his hand and clenched his fist. The long spear immediately shattered. The strong and violent spiritual energy was instantly crushed and disintegrated. What? You? Master Mu's eyes widened. He did not expect his attack to be so easily neutralized. Impossible. How can your strength be so terrifying? As Grandmaster Mu roared, he condensed another spear and attacked Chu Fengmian once again. At the same time, Zhao Duanxiao, who was beside Grandmaster Mu, also moved quietly. A long sword suddenly appeared in his hand. This was actually another Earth-grade spiritual weapon. As soon as the long sword appeared, it immediately slashed toward Chu Fengmian. Zhao Duanxiao now also discovered that Chu Fengmian's strength was indeed strong to a somewhat strange extent. He also suddenly made a move, preparing to launch a sneak attack on Chu Fengmian. Kneel down, both of you. Facing the siege of the two, Chu Fengmian raised and lowered his arm. Suddenly, endless spiritual energy burst out from Chu Fengmian's body. Boom! The surging spiritual energy suddenly burst out from Chu Fengmian's body. The surrounding space even showed signs of breaking. Chu Fengmian had only used 10% of his strength. If he used his full strength now, the space condensed by this strange compass would not be able to withstand Chu Fengmian's full strength. It should be known that Chu Fengmian's current full strength could even shatter the Saint's kingdom. How could the space condensed by this little spiritual weapon compete with Chu Fengmian? The two figures were suddenly subdued and then knelt on the ground. Under this power, the two of them did not even have the ability to resist. You are not a wind-resisting realm warrior. You are a saint. Who the hell are you? Zhao Duanxiao knelt on the ground and roared wildly. To be able to suppress him and Master Mu in one move, even a powerful half-step saint couldn't do it. Only a true saint could do it. Chu Fengmian in front of him was not a pushover. He was a genuine saint. You dare to attack me? Aren't you afraid of my father? Also, you are hiding your identity sneakily. It is very likely that you are not from our Qin kingdom. The war between the 6 kingdoms is about to begin. You must be from the other 5 kingdoms. Zhao Duanxiao looked at Chu Fengmian and roared loudly as if he had caught Chu Fengmian's weakness. Let me go quickly. Otherwise, when this young master reveals your identity, you will be finished. Now obediently let me go and hand over all your wealth. This young master can still consider letting you go. Idiot! Hearing Zhao Duanxiao's words, Chu Fengmian snorted coldly. A burst of spiritual energy suddenly oppressed him, causing him to fall to the ground and spit out a mouthful of blood. Do you think you can still leave alive today? Chu Fengmian's eyes were full of killing intent as he looked at Zhao Duanxiao. Idiot was the best word to describe the current Zhao Duanxiao. Could it be that he thought Chu Fengmian would let him go today? You dare to kill me? Zhao Duanxiao shouted in disbelief. You dare to kill me? Are you not afraid of my father? If you dare to kill me, you will be hunted down endlessly by our family Zhao. Our family Zhao has more than 10 saints. If you dare to kill me, you will be hunted down endlessly. As the second young master of family Zhao, Zhao Duanxiao had never thought that there would be a day when someone would dare to kill him. There were many people who wanted to kill Zhao Duanxiao, but there were very few who dared to kill him. It should be said that they had never appeared. Zhao Duanxiao's father, Zhao Wudi, was the Grand Marshal of the Qin Empire. He had enough power to contend with the royal family. Family Zhao was also the largest family in the Qin Empire. They even had more than 10 saints. With such a huge power, who would dare to kill Zhao Duanxiao? Even Pavilion Master Mu of the Mysterious Treasures Pavilion did not dare. So when Chu Fengmian said that he wanted to kill Zhao Duanxiao, his first reaction was not to panic, but to roar. He felt that Chu Fengmian definitely did not understand their family Zhao. That was why he dared to say that he wanted to kill him. If he understood the family Zhao, even a powerful person would have scruples. Chapter 292. You talk too much. Die. Chu Fengmian snorted and exerted force in his palm. Zhao Duanxiao's body began to swell like a balloon that could explode at any time under the immense pressure. No. I won't die. I'm Family Zhao's man. How can I die? Zhao Duanxiao was still roaring crazily even when he was about to die. However, his roar was meaningless. His body grew bigger and bigger, and finally, with a bang, he turned into a cloud of blood mist. This cloud of blood mist was completely absorbed by Chu Fengmian and integrated into the slaughter sword art. Although the blood chi of a wind-resisting realm warrior was not very useful to Chu Fengmian, it was better than nothing. Chu Fengmian would not waste any opportunity to enhance his strength. Cut the weeds and dig up the roots. You're next. Chu Fengmian looked at Master Mu, who was kneeling on the ground and shivering. His eyes turned cold. Even if Master Mu begged for mercy, Chu Fengmian would not let him go today. Die. After spitting out a single word, Grandmaster Mu's body suddenly exploded into a cloud of blood mist, which was completely devoured by Chu Fengmian. Zhao Duanxiao and Grandmaster Mu had both fallen in Chu Fengmian's hands. Chu Fengmian took the mysterious compass and activated it. The surrounding space dissipated, and with a flash of his body, he left. The two of them had died without a sound. They had planned to use the mysterious feng shui compass to kill Chu Fengmian. Now that Chu Fengmian had been saved from a huge problem, they could take care of the two of them. The auction should start soon. Chu Fengmian said in his heart. When he returned to the Twilight Pavilion, Lu Qingshan and Qianye were already waiting for him outside. Seeing that Chu Fengmian had returned, Qianye immediately went up to him. Mr. Chu is back. I heard that Mr. Chu has gained a lot in the Rare Treasure Pavilion. Qianye's voice was extremely charming as she stood beside Chu Fengmian. It was as if the two of them had known each other for many years. What happened in the Rare Treasure Pavilion had already spread throughout the Nine Cauldron Ancient City. $1 billion was a huge bet that had not appeared in the Nine Cauldron Ancient City for countless years. Naturally, it attracted the attention of many people. Qianye was especially curious when he heard that Chu Fengmian could beat Master Mu. Master Mu was a famous character in Nine Cauldron Ancient City, but he actually lost to Chu Fengmian in the field of treasure appraisal. This was something that no one expected. This made Qianye even more curious about Chu Fengmian. He wanted to know who this mysterious Chu Fengmian was. I was just lucky. I've read some ancient books before, so I know a thing or two about appraising treasures. Chu Fengmian said calmly. Know a little? Hearing Chu Fengmian's words, Qianye couldn't help but roll his eyes. How could a person who knew a thing or two defeat Master Mu? How could he dare to bet $1 billion with Master Mu? However, she still had a charming smile on her face. The auction is about to begin. Mr. Chu, let's walk and talk. Qianye looked at Chu Fengmian and smiled. He led Chu Fengmian to the core area of Nine Cauldron Ancient City. Along the way, Qianye chatted with Chu Fengmian from time to time. Mr. Chu, I heard that you bought a lot of strange items. You even bought the Extreming Magical Stone? What do you need this Extreming Devil Stone for? Qianye's eyes flashed, but he pretended to ask casually. The hottest topic in the crowd was Chu Fengmian's purchase of the Extreming Magical Stone. Everyone knew that the Extreming Magic Stone contained immense power. However, no one had been able to truly control the Extreming Magic Stone. Saints couldn't do it, and even experts who had transcended life and death couldn't do it. Chu Fengmian actually bought such a hot potato. This made countless people wonder if Chu Fengmian had a way to use the Extreming Magical Stone. One had to know that the Extreming Magical Stone was even more powerful than the pure Yang Dragon Stone. If one could use its power, it would be absolutely shocking. Qianye's casual question was actually to fish for information from Chu Fengmian. I just like to collect strange items. The Extreming Magical Stone is also an extremely rare natural item, so I bought it. Chu Fengmian said indifferently. When Qianye opened her mouth, every single action of hers was filled with charm. Evidently, The skill that she had cultivated was a type of charm skill. Some cultivators with weak willpower would very likely be charmed by Qianya and controlled by her. However, no matter how strong Chu Fengmian's mind was, this little charm technique of Qianya was nothing to him. Collect? The Extreming Devil Stone was a hot potato. Could it be that Mr. Chu knew how to use the Extreming Devil Stone? Can you tell Qianya? Qianya really wants to know. Hearing Chu Fengmian's words, Qianya moved closer to Chu Fengmian and displayed her charm technique to its fullest. Countless cultivators around looked at Qianya with an extremely infatuated expression. Now, even if Qianya asked them to die, they would be willing to do so. He was afraid that many saints would be bewitched by Qianya. Humph! Chu Fengmian snorted coldly. With a slight dragon roar, countless cultivators around were suddenly jolted awake. Qianya's charm technique was directly dispersed. This is just a warning. Don't try to use this little charm technique to charm me. Chu Fengmian looked at Qianya and said coldly. Although he didn't care about this little charm technique, Qianya obviously didn't have good intentions towards Chu Fengmian. This time, it was a small warning to her. Yes. Qianya said unwillingly. At the same time, she was even more unconvinced in her heart. Her charm technique rarely failed unless she encountered a saint. Even Lu Qingshan, who had been with her for a long time, would be easily charmed by her. But now, her charm technique was completely useless in front of Chu Fengmian. Instead, it was directly broken by Chu Fengmian. This guy's strength is extremely strange. A mere first level of the wind-controlling realm is enough to resist my charm technique. But sooner or later, I'll seize the opportunity to make him submit to me. Qianya couldn't help but think in her heart. Qianya naturally couldn't hide her thoughts from Chu Fengmian. But Chu Fengmian was too lazy to pay attention to her. As long as she didn't harm Chu Fengmian wouldn't waste his energy. We've arrived at the auction house. Qianya said from the side. Chapter 293. Lady Qianya, you're here. Just as she arrived in front of the auction house, a young man laughed loudly and welcomed her. This young man looked to be in his early 30s. His strength had already reached the peak of the wind-resisting realm and was comparable to Prince Yan Nan and the others from Wuxin country. This young man looked at Qianya with undisguised lust in his eyes. He was one of Qianya's pursuers. So it's Field Officer Zhao. Field Officer Zhao is also here to participate in this auction today? Qianya said with a smile when she saw Field Officer Zhao. However, Chu Fengmian could see that Qianya was extremely disgusted with Field Officer Zhao. However, due to Field Officer Zhao's status, she couldn't show it. That's right. Tomorrow, I will be following the army to conquer the other 5 countries. Naturally, I will be here to buy some life-saving items. Field Officer Zhao looked at Qianya and suddenly opened his mouth. Since Lady Qianya is also here to participate in this auction, why don't you come with me? If there's anything that Qianya likes, I will buy it for Qianya. As Field Officer Zhao spoke, he revealed a smile on his face and secretly wanted to hug Qianya. Qianya appreciates Field Officer Zhao's good intentions. However, Qianya came to the auction this time to accompany a mister. If I were to accompany Field Officer Zhao, I would be letting this mister down. Qianya's figure moved and stealthily avoided Captain Zhao. Her eyes revealed some anger. However, she seemed to be somewhat helpless and could only open her mouth to speak. If there's a chance, how about Qianya and Field Officer Zhao go together the next time we meet at the auction? Who dares to let Lady Qianya accompany him? Hearing Qianya's words, Field Officer Zhao coldly snorted. He suddenly raised his head and looked at Chu Fengmian, who was standing behind Qianya. Looking at Chu Fengmian's unfamiliar face, Field Officer Zhao disdainfully snorted and said, "Brat, Miss Qianya will be accompanying me today. You should go and participate in the auction by yourself." Field Officer Zhao looked at Chu Fengmian, his eyes showing that he didn't care about Chu Fengmian at all. When Field Officer Zhao saw Qianya, he directly asked Qianya to accompany him in front of Chu Fengmian. This was simply a provocation to Chu Fengmian. He didn't put Chu Fengmian in his eyes at all. With his status, he wouldn't care about a stranger like this. He had seen all the young people with real status in the Qin Empire, and Chu Fengmian was obviously not one of them. As such, he wouldn't put Chu Fengmian in his eyes at all. Lieutenant Zhao's words caused Chu Fengmian to frown. No matter how arrogant Commandant Zhao was, it had nothing to do with Chu Fengmian. Chu Fengmian also didn't want to pay attention to him. However, if Commandant Zhao dared to be arrogant in front of Chu Fengmian, then he would be courting death. What are you talking about? Hurry up and get lost. I'm in a good mood today, so I don't have the heart to bicker with a small character like you. Hurry up and get lost, I'll call someone to take you away right now. Field Officer Zhao looked at Chu Fengmian and spoke with anger. Men, take this kid away and lock him in the prison. Teach him a good lesson. Yes. Behind Field Officer Zhao, two middle-aged men suddenly walked out. Looking at Chu Fengmian, two waves of spiritual energy blasted towards Chu Fengmian, intending to capture him. Field Officer Zhao, when Qianya saw that Chu Fengmian was about to be taken away, she panicked for a moment. Chu Fengmian was an important guest of the Sunset Pavilion, and Lu Qingshan had instructed countless times to ensure Chu Fengmian's safety. If Chu Fengmian was captured by Field Officer Zhao and sent to the prison today, then even if Chu Fengmian didn't die, he would at least lose a few layers of skin. In a place like the prison, once one entered, he would be tortured half to death. Miss Qianya, don't mind it. You want to hurt me with just a few ants? What a joke! Chu Fengmian took a step forward and laughed loudly. His eyes were full of disdain as he looked at the two men who suddenly attacked him. 2 ants, how dare you attack me? You two should obediently kneel down. Kneel here for 3 days and 3 nights, and that will be your punishment. Chu Fengmian's mind moved, and a huge hand of spiritual energy suddenly condensed and blasted towards the two middle-aged men. The two men seemed to be resisting, but how could they be Chu Fengmian's opponent? Their spiritual energy was instantly shattered, and in front of the huge hand of spiritual energy, they immediately knelt on the ground. What? Field Officer Zhao's face instantly became furious when he saw his subordinates kneeling on the ground. He was a member of family Zhao. In the Qin Empire, he was simply a lawless existence who dared to go against the imperial family. Even if the imperial family came, they wouldn't dare to make his subordinates kneel. His subordinates kneeling was a great insult to him. Not to mention an unknown kid, even some half-step saints wouldn't dare to do such a thing. Kid, you're courting death. It seems that I have to personally attack and kill you today. You've already angered me. Even the rules of the 9 Cauldrons ancient city can't save you today. You must die today. Field Officer Zhao was burning with anger. His spiritual energy rose steadily, and the aura on his body skyrocketed. A wave of spiritual energy condensed and turned into a huge millstone. It blasted towards Chu Fengmian as if it wanted to crush Chu Fengmian. This is family Zhao's secret technique, Heaven and Earth Millstone. With a huge force, it can crush people into pieces. Even a half-step saint wouldn't dare to resist it. Qianya's face changed greatly, and she hurriedly retreated. With her strength, if she was caught in the Heaven and Earth Millstone, she would be seriously injured even if she didn't die. What Heaven and Earth Millstone? How dare such a clumsy martial technique be called Heaven and Earth? It's simply a rubbish millstone that can only grind some rubbish. Chu Fengmian stood in the same place without moving. This Heaven and Earth Millstone didn't put Chu Fengmian in its eyes at all. Break for me. Chu Fengmian spat out a few words coldly. The Heaven and Earth Millstone was crushed by the spiritual energy in an instant. In Chu Fengmian's eyes, a warrior at the peak of the Imperial Wind Realm was worse than an ant. Although Chu Fengmian was also in the Imperial Wind Realm, he had the strength of a true saint. Impossible. Field Officer Zhao's face changed greatly. When did such a peerless monster appear in the 9 Cauldrons ancient city? Chu Fengmian, who was in the first level of the Imperial Wind Realm, could crush his heaven and earth millstone without batting an eyelid. How could the Chu Fengmian in front of him have such a powerful strength? I don't believe that a nameless kid can contend with me. With my body. Turn into a millstone. Crush heaven and earth. Field Officer Zhao roared. His whole body turned into a huge millstone, and madly crushed over. Even a grain of rice can release brilliance? Chapter 294. Field Officer Zhao used his body to transform into a millstone. Even a half-saint would have to retreat. However, in Chu Fengmian's hands, he was broken by Chu Fengmian, and his neck was gripped in Chu Fengmian's hand. How terrifying was Chu Fengmian's strength? A half-saint? Or even a saint? Qianya stood at the side, and her eyes were filled with astonishment. She naturally knew that Chu Fengmian's strength wasn't as simple as it seemed. However, to be able to defeat Field Officer Zhao in one move, his strength was frightening. What are you doing? Let me go! Field Officer Zhao was gripped in Chu Fengmian's hand, but his expression didn't change. Instead, he became even more arrogant. How dare you go against family Zhao? You're courting death. Let me go now. Kneel. Beg for my forgiveness. Become my slave, and I can spare your life. Field Officer Zhao was extremely arrogant even though his life was in someone's hands. He didn't believe that anyone would dare to attack a member of family Zhao. In the entire Nine Cauldron ancient city, no one dared to challenge family Zhao's prestige. Are all members of family Zhao fools? Chu Fengmian looked at Field Officer Zhao and sneered. Did he really think that Chu Fengmian would be afraid of family Zhao? Family Zhao's second son, Zhao Duanxiao, died in Chu Fengmian's hands. Would Chu Fengmian care about such a small family Zhao field officer's identity? Kneel! Kneel in front of the auction house for 7 days and 7 nights. Let everyone see the consequences of going against me. Chu Fengmian shouted coldly. He exerted force in his hand, and Field Officer Zhao was pressed to the ground. Field Officer Zhao's knees sank into the ground, and he couldn't pull them out. No! Field Officer Zhao roared angrily. Making him kneel here was more humiliating than killing him. As a member of family Zhao, when had anyone dared to make him kneel? Not even the royal family of the Qin Empire. This was a great humiliation. This was a great humiliation. It was more humiliating than what Field Officer Zhao had suffered in his life. My family Zhao's bloodline is incomparably noble. I would rather die in battle than suffer such humiliation. Field Officer Zhao roared angrily. Even his pride felt insulted. An enormous power suddenly erupted from Field Officer Zhao's body. His entire foundation was unleashed. Under the enormous power, he actually wanted to break free from Chu Fengmian's control and stand up. Joke? What family Zhao's bloodline? What incomparably noble status? It's all meaningless in front of me. Kneel before me. If I tell you to kneel, you have to kneel. Chu Fengmian sneered again and again. He increased the strength in his palm and Field Officer Zhao fell to his knees with a bang. No matter how Field Officer Zhao struggled, it was meaningless in Chu Fengmian's hands. He was firmly suppressed. Forever kneeling on the ground. Let's go to the auction. Chu Fengmian glanced at the Qianya beside him and said calmly. To Chu Fengmian, taking care of Field Officer Zhao was just a matter of waving his hand. Chu Fengmian brought the Qianya and swaggered into the auction. After Chu Fengmian left, many people noticed Field Officer Zhao kneeling on the ground. Look, isn't that Field Officer Zhao kneeling on the ground? Chu Fengmian's actions also attracted the attention of many people. This auction was located at the core of the Nine Cauldrons ancient city. The flow of people was extremely large. The commotion caused by Chu Fengmian was immediately noticed by many people. At first, the crowd thought that it was just a fight between a few warriors, so they didn't pay much attention to it. Although the rules of the Nine Cauldrons ancient city were strict, as long as they didn't cause any trouble, small fights would still happen from time to time. However, when they saw the person kneeling on the ground, everyone's expression changed. Field Officer Zhao, a member of family Zhao. That's right, it's Field Officer Zhao. Why is he kneeling on the ground? Who is the person in front of him? Could it be that he was the one who beat Field Officer Zhao to the ground? That's impossible. With Field Officer Zhao's strength, even a half-step saint couldn't do anything to him. How could he be defeated and kneel on the ground today? I don't know who did it. Looking at him and the Chanya together, they should have entered the auction. Let's hurry up and leave. Otherwise, when family Zhao's people arrive, we'll also be affected by it. Many people spoke one after another and left one after another. Watching family Zhao's drama wasn't that simple. The matter of Field Officer Zhao would definitely attract family Zhao's experts. When the time came, these people who were watching the drama would also be affected. Even so, many people still saw Field Officer Zhao kneeling on the ground. Hearing these people pointing and whispering, Field Officer Zhao's heart was about to go crazy. Field Officer Zhao's face was flushed red with anger. Such a huge humiliation would make him unable to raise his head in the Nine Cauldrons ancient city in the future. Brat! I'll definitely kill you. Field Officer Zhao roared angrily in his heart. Of course, Chu Fengmian didn't take Field Officer Zhao's roar to heart. Even Field Officer Zhao was just an ant in Chu Fengmian's eyes. If a person trampled an ant to death, would they still care about it? Now that he had come to the auction, he wanted to buy a lot of things to improve his strength. The Qin Empire wasn't a country where martial arts prevailed. With Chu Fengmian's current strength, he might not be able to walk unhindered in the Qin Empire. The most important thing was to improve his strength. This auction house was incomparably huge and was divided into countless private rooms. Chu Fengmian came to Qianya and went to the 13th private room. To be able to get the 13th private room, it seemed like the Twilight Pavilion behind Qianya had an extremely high status in the Nine Cauldrons ancient city. After entering the private room, Qianya suddenly spoke. Mr. Chu, you'd better let Field Officer Zhao go. Otherwise, you'll be in big trouble. She didn't expect Chu Fengmian's character to be so overbearing. Seeing Chu Fengmian in the Twilight Pavilion, Chu Fengmian's character should be extremely calm. However, she didn't expect him to defeat Field Officer Zhao in such a swift and decisive manner. He even made him kneel on the ground for 7 days and 7 nights. This was even more humiliating than killing him. Making Field Officer Zhao kneel in front of the auction house wasn't just a slap to Field Officer Zhao's face. It was the face of the entire family Zhao. When family Zhao was angry, the Twilight Pavilion couldn't withstand it. Therefore, Qianya could only come to persuade Chu Fengmian. Oh? What's the background of this Field Officer Zhao? Chu Fengmian said indifferently. Chu Fengmian had heard of family Zhao before, but he didn't know much about it. Now, he wanted to hear Qianya's explanation of family Zhao. Only by knowing yourself and your enemy can you win 100 battles. Chu Fengmian wasn't afraid of family Zhao, but it was best to understand family Zhao. Chapter 295. Looking at Chu Fengmian's relaxed tone, Qianya felt even more helpless, but she still explained Captain Zhao's identity. This guy is called Zhao Chun, one of the collateral disciples of family Zhao. Although he's a collateral relative of family Zhao, he's quite talented, so he was assigned by family Zhao to serve as a captain in the Invincible Army, the head of the 4 armies of the Qin Empire. Family Zhao's power in the Qin Empire is enough to compete with or even surpass the imperial family. Zhao Chun's grandfather is also a saint of family Zhao. You've humiliated family Zhao today, so family Zhao won't let you go. Seeing Chu Fengmian's unchanged expression, Qianya tried to persuade him. If you let Zhao Chun go now and apologize to him, family Zhao won't make things difficult for you, and the Twilight Pavilion can also protect you. Apologize? Chu Fengmian suddenly laughed. No one in the small Qin Empire could make him apologize. Even if the top expert of family Zhao, Zhao Wudi, came, Chu Fengmian wouldn't apologize. What's more, Zhao Chun asked for it today, so he couldn't blame anyone else. Young Master Chu, although you're very powerful, it's not a wise choice to go against family Zhao. Seeing that Chu Fengmian didn't take it to heart, Jianya tried to persuade him anxiously. If Chu Fengmian wasn't a big client of the Twilight Pavilion, she wouldn't have tried to persuade him. What's more, Chu Fengmian offended family Zhao because of her, so she still wanted Chu Fengmian to reconcile with family Zhao. Don't worry, family Zhao. Even if someone dares to come, I'll still make him kneel on the ground. Chu Fengmian sneered. Family Zhao. Just when Chu Fengmian was worried about who to attack, family Zhao came to him. It seemed that the 5 saints that Chu Fengmian needed to kill would be family Zhao. Let's take a look at the auction first. I already know about family Zhao. Chu Fengmian casually said as he shifted his gaze to the auction house. Jianya could only sigh when he saw that his advice was ineffective. With Chu Fengmian's arrogant personality, he was bound to suffer sooner or later. He could only hope that family Zhao wouldn't go overboard. This family Zhao is the most war-oriented family Zhao in the Qin Huang nation. It is said that it was this family Zhao's idea to attack the Wusheng nation. Now that I have destroyed family Zhao, I can also ease the situation of the 6 nations. Chu Fengmian thought to himself. This time, he came to the Qin Empire because of the war between the 6 states. However, Chu Fengmian's current strength was not enough to destroy family Zhao. At the very least, Chu Fengmian did not have the confidence to contend against the #1 expert of the Qin Empire, General Zhao Wudi. Chu Fengmian still needed to increase his own strength. This time, Chu Fengmian came to the auction with the intention of purchasing countless items to increase his strength. Chu Fengmian was secretly plotting all sorts of ways to deal with family Zhao. Not long after, the auction began. There were many secret booths that overlooked the auction stage below. Countless treasures were brought onto the stage, emitting dazzling light. That is the saint's blood essence. Chu Fengmian glanced over and saw a huge vat on the auction stage. The vat was filled with scarlet blood. The various powers emitted from the vat were the saint's blood essence. This half a vat of saint's blood essence was almost all of a saint's blood essence. It looked like someone had captured a saint and forcibly extracted his blood essence. That was why there was so much of it. I still need to be in the wind-controlling realm. This saint's blood essence can also increase my strength. It can also be infused with the blood essence in the slaughter sword arts, making them stronger. Looks like I have to buy it. Chu Fengmian looked at the saint's blood essence and thought to himself. His slaughter sword arts were meaningless to ordinary warriors. Only the blood essence of a saint could make his slaughter sword arts stronger. When the slaughter sword arts were cultivated to the extreme, its power would even surpass a heaven-class martial technique. Of course, Chu Fengmian would not give up on cultivating it. This saint's blood essence is good stuff. It can be used to comprehend the law of space and infused into the body. If a warrior at the peak of the wind-controlling realm were to infuse this vat of saint's blood essence, he would be able to comprehend to the half-saint realm. He would be much stronger than an ordinary half-saint. Jianya's eyes lit up when he saw the saint's blood essence. I wonder if Mr. Chu is interested in the saint's blood essence. Of course I am interested in the saint's blood essence. If it is not expensive, I can certainly buy it. Chu Fengmian said with a smile. The saint's blood essence was indeed useful to him. If the Sunset Pavilion has any saint's blood essence, you can sell it all to me. The price is negotiable. Chu Fengmian said with a laugh. Half a vat of saint's blood essence was worth at most 100 million 9 cauldron elixirs. For Chu Fengmian, who had more than 2 billion in wealth, he could easily buy it. Now that he had won the bet with Master Mu and obtained materials worth 1 billion 9 cauldron elixirs, he was naturally wealthy. Mr. Chu, you must be joking. Our Twilight Pavilion can't get such a miraculous item like the Saint's Blood Essence. It is said that this half jar of Saint's Blood Essence was obtained by an old ancestor of the Qin Empire who went to the Jiushi Empire and captured a saint. Jianya said with a smile. Such a Saint's Blood Essence rarely appears in an auction. This auction is the last one before the 6 countries go to war. I'm afraid the price of the Saint's Blood Essence will not be low. It doesn't matter. No matter how high the price is, I can buy it. Let's see who dares to compete with me. Chu Fengmian said coldly. His tone was extremely confident and domineering. In terms of wealth, Chu Fengmian was not afraid of anyone. The saint's blood essence was something that Chu Fengmian could not afford. Then, let's wait for Mr. Chu's good news. Qianya said and waited for the auction to begin. An old man suddenly appeared on the auction stage. This old man was holding a jade box in his hand. Before the jade box was opened, boundless medicinal energy surged around the jade box, causing the entire auction venue to be filled with the fragrance of elixirs. Chu Fengmian could feel that there was a faint dragon's might under the pure spiritual energy. This is the first item of today's auction. It is the spiritual herb in this jade box. The old man's loud voice resounded throughout the hall. Suddenly, he opened the jade box. The cry of a dragon could be heard coming from the jade box. Dragon birth grass. Chu Fengmian's eyes lit up. The jade box contained the dragon birth grass, one of the spiritual herbs that he needed the most. Although the effect of the dragon birth grass was not as good as the 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass, it was still very useful for Chu Fengmian's improvement. Chapter 296. The item in this box is called the ambergris herb. I'm sure all of you have heard of it before. It's a spiritual herb that can only be found in the dragon lair. Once consumed and refined, it will seep into one's bloodline and strengthen one's body. It's the most perfect spiritual herb for enhancing one's body. The old man pointed at the ambergris herb and announced loudly. Ambergris herb? Who is this lunatic? How dare he go deep into the dragon lair? No matter what, I have to buy it. This ambergris herb is very useful to saints. I must get it. With this ambergris herb, my strength will increase by several folds. Countless voices were heard. They were all very interested in the ambergris herb. The starting price is 100,000 9-cauldron pills. The old man heard the crowd's discussion and decided to strike while the iron was hot. He immediately shouted out the price. Before he could finish his sentence, he was drowned out by countless voices calling out bids. I'll bid 100,000. 150,000, 200,000. The ambergris herb was a true treasure. Not only did it not have any side effects, but it could also improve one's bloodline. One should know that the bloodline of a true dragon was the most noble bloodline. Once the power of the ambergris herb was infused into the warrior's body, his strength would increase by several folds, 1 million. Chu Fengmian's heart skipped a beat. He immediately raised the price to 1 million. The sudden increase in the price by 5 times also attracted the attention of countless people to Chu Fengmian. Booth 13. What a high number. I wonder who it is. However, it's impossible to buy this ambergris herb for 1 million 9-cauldron pills. As soon as the discussion started, an even higher number was announced, 1,500,000. 3 million. Chu Fengmian didn't hold back and doubled the price in one breath. Such a way of bidding was simply not treating the 9-cauldron pills as money, for million. The voice that had just called out a bid rang out again. This time, there was a hint of anger in the voice. Where did this friend come from? This ambergris herb was specifically requested by Family Zhao, the Grand Marshal of the Armed Forces. Please give us some face. Suddenly, a voice rang out from private room number 7. Many people's expressions changed when they heard the name Grand Marshal of the Armed Forces. It's Family Zhao's people. Oh no, looks like Family Zhao is going to buy all the good stuff again. Do you think the person in room 13 still dares to fight for it? Impossible. Who would dare to compete with Family Zhao? Countless voices sounded out, and they were all extremely disappointed. With Family Zhao here, all the good things in this auction would be swept clean. Countless times before, Family Zhao's people had been the ones to sweep away all the good stuff at the auction, and no one dared to compete with them. Family Zhao's position in the Qin Empire could be said to be like the sun in the sky, even to the point of replacing the royal family. Who would dare to compete with Family Zhao? Head Chief, no one will dare to fight with you now. Inside private room number 7, there were countless people standing. Among them, there was a well-dressed middle-aged man sitting at the top. Beside him were countless maids serving him, as if he was an emperor. The moon was surrounded by stars. Many of the people standing here were wind-resisting realm warriors, but now they were all standing aside like manservants. It could be seen that the leader was powerful. Let's see who dares to compete with Family Zhao. In this auction, I want to buy all the good stuff. The war between the 6 nations has begun, and we need to increase our strength. The head chief said calmly. You can buy whatever you see. After all, with Family Zhao's name, those people won't dare to compete. That's right. Our Family Zhao will soon become the ruler of the Qin Empire. Who would dare to offend our Family Zhao? Another disciple of Family Zhao said. Obviously, he was extremely proud because he was from Family Zhao. Logically speaking, since the head chief is here, the auction should obediently offer up all the treasures. Why do we need to bid for them? A disciple of Family Zhao said arrogantly. It doesn't matter. After all, there are still some old guys in the 9 Cauldron ancient city. But let's see what those old guys have to say. Whoever dares to compete with me will offend Family Zhao, and he will be in big trouble. The head chief said confidently. He didn't believe that there would be anyone who dared to compete with Family Zhao. This voice should be Family Zhao's head chief, Zhao Xiong. Qianya, who was beside him, reminded him when he heard the voice. This Zhao Xiong should be here on Family Zhao's orders. So what? No one can stop me from buying what I want. Hearing the words Family Zhao, Chu Fengmian didn't care at all. So what if they were Family Zhao? Today, he, Chu Fengmian, was going to slap Family Zhao's face. 10 million 9 cauldron pills. Chu Fengmian's heart skipped a beat, and he called out an even higher price. This caused the originally calm scene to become even more turbulent. Another bid. The person in box 13 isn't afraid of Family Zhao. He dares to compete with Family Zhao. Interesting, interesting. I thought that Family Zhao would be the one to plunder this auction, but I didn't expect such a change. Countless people started discussing. In box 7. A disciple of Family Zhao slammed the table, stood up, and said angrily. Head Chief, who is this person? How dare he compete with you? I'll go ask the higher-ups in the 9 Cauldron ancient city to find out who he is. I'll bring him to you and kill him. He'll atone for his sins with his death. Family Zhao had always been domineering. Those who submitted to him would prosper, and those who opposed him would perish. No one had ever dared to compete with Family Zhao. That's right. We can report this to the family and put pressure on the 9 Cauldron ancient city to catch this guy. Another disciple of Family Zhao suggested. Everyone started to speak, and their words were extremely vicious. It was as if they wanted to tear Chu Fengmian into pieces. Silence. Head Chief Zhao Xiong snorted, and all the disciples of Family Zhao immediately shut their mouths. Interesting. I'd like to see who's the one competing with me. The corner of Zhao Xiong's mouth revealed a sinister smile. 11 million. 20 million. Chu Fengmian didn't hesitate. The moment Zhao Xiong opened his mouth, he almost doubled the price. 25 million. Zhao Xiong opened his mouth again. This time, his voice was filled with anger. Chu Fengmian's voice was heard again. Others might be afraid of Family Zhao, but he wasn't. He would buy the ambergris even if a saint came to compete with him. 50 million. He almost doubled the price again, firmly suppressing Zhao Xiong's bid. 5,100 million. Chapter 297. 100 million. The ambergris grass was the first item to be auctioned today, yet it was sold at a sky-high price of 100 million. Who is the person in box 13? How could he be so generous as to suppress family Zhao's people? Many of the people present were waiting for a good show. They did not dare to offend family Zhao. Now that someone had offended him, they were eager to see who would do it. Family Zhao was powerful and had oppressed countless people in the Qin Empire. Seeing family Zhao suffer a setback, the people present felt like they were watching a joke. Chief Steward, this person is really reckless. How dare he compete with you for the ambergris grass? Should we go find those old men in the Nine Cauldron ancient city and kill him? Many of family Zhao's disciples were infuriated as they tried to curry favor with Zhao Xiong. The rules in the Nine Cauldron ancient city are troublesome. We don't have a good reason to find those old men. It's just a competition of elixir pills. Family Zhao is not afraid. Zhao Xiong roared angrily. 150 million Nine Cauldron pills. If your bid is higher than this, you can buy it. A stock of ambergris grass could only be sold at this price. 150 million Nine Cauldron pills was already the limit. Zhao Xiong's voice was filled with boundless killing intent. It was as if he would kill Chu Fengmian if he continued to bid. Is that so? Then I won't hold back. 160 million. Chu Fengmian laughed loudly. He did not take the threat of the killing intent to heart as he bid another price. This time, the crowd was incomparably quiet. Zhao Xiong did not make another sound. Damn it! Damn it! This person is here to go against family Zhao. I must kill him. In box 7, Zhao Xiong roared furiously. This price had already exceeded the value of the ambergris grass. This price was obviously going against family Zhao, and he could no longer suppress the anger in his heart. Very well, this brat is already a dead man. Whoever dares to go against family Zhao, no matter who he is, even if he is a saint, will die today. Zhao Xiong roared, and his spiritual energy erupted wildly. It seemed that he could attack at any time, like a lion with its hair standing on end. Endure! Today's auction has the item that the Grand Marshal wants. We can't make a ruckus now. Let's let that brat live for now. When the auction is over, we'll settle the score with him. Zhao Xiong coldly snorted and stopped bidding. Young Master Chu, please be careful. Zhao Xiong is not like Zhao Chun. He is a half-saint. Few below the saint realm can match him. Seeing Chu Fengmian snatch the ambergris grass from Zhao Xiong's hand, Qianya could only sigh. In terms of wealth, Zhao Xiong obviously could not be compared to Chu Fengmian. After all, he spent 160 million Nine Cauldron pills to buy the ambergris grass. Perhaps only Chu Fengmian could do such a crazy thing. For Chu Fengmian, what he needed most now was to improve his strength. Therefore, regardless of the value of the ambergris grass, Chu Fengmian had to get it. The most important thing now was to improve his strength. As for wealth, Chu Fengmian could accumulate it at any time. It doesn't matter. A half-saint is nothing in my eyes. Chu Fengmian said calmly. His tone showed that he did not care about Zhao Xiong. In Chu Fengmian's eyes, a half-saint was just a slightly bigger ant. He did not need to care about him. The ambergris grass was bought by Chu Fengmian at the price of 160 million Nine Cauldron pills. Chu Fengmian waved his hand. Suddenly, a long river of pills appeared and flew towards the grandstand. It was 160 million Nine Cauldron pills. At the same time, Chu Fengmian's palm moved. The ambergris grass was grabbed by Chu Fengmian and disappeared into thin air. Countless people were amazed by such a method. They could not see through Chu Fengmian's strength, but this method was indeed mysterious. At least, Chu Fengmian was not an easy person to deal with. Since I have obtained the ambergris grass, I'll refine it first. My strength is still far from the bottleneck. The Qin Empire is full of dangers. It's best to improve my strength as much as possible. After obtaining the ambergris grass, Chu Fengmian moved his mind and the 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass appeared in his hand. A cluster of flames immediately refined the two elixirs, turning them into a pure medicinal liquid that tunneled into Chu Fengmian's body. The energy of the two spiritual herbs was refined by Chu Fengmian and turned into extremely pure spiritual energy, filling Chu Fengmian's body. Chu Fengmian moved his mind and secretly activated the battle dragon skill. The shadow of the ancient battle dragon kept devouring the spiritual energy of the two spiritual herbs in Chu Fengmian's body. As long as the battle dragon skill did not reach the bottleneck, it could devour spiritual energy endlessly to gather energy. For Chu Fengmian's current realm, devouring ordinary spiritual energy was meaningless. Chu Fengmian would need to devour hundreds of millions or even billions of 9 cauldron pills to increase his realm by a little. The only things that could increase Chu Fengmian's strength were the real high-grade spiritual herbs and rare items. Especially the 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass and the ambergris grass, which contained the energy of the true dragon. The energy of the true dragon contained the energy of the ancient battle dragon. Chu Fengmian could extract the energy of the ancient battle dragon and gather it into the shadow of the ancient battle dragon in the battle dragon skill. In Chu Fengmian's body, the shadow of the ancient battle dragon grew bigger and bigger, constantly reassembling. Drops of ancient battle dragon blood essence began to awaken crazily. 10 drops, 20 drops, 30 drops, 100 drops. Above the shadow of the ancient battle dragon, a total of 100 drops of ancient battle dragon blood essence were condensed. The medicinal efficacy of the two spiritual herbs was indeed extremely terrifying. The amount of ancient battle dragon blood essence in Chu Fengmian's body had doubled, reaching 200 drops. Chu Fengmian's body and bloodline had also undergone a rapid transformation. His realm had also broken through to the 3rd level of the Imperial Wind realm. Great, my strength has improved greatly. It is at least 2 times stronger than before. Chu Fengmian was overjoyed. The medicinal efficacy of the 1,000-year-old dragon blood grass and the ambergris grass was indeed more powerful than he had imagined. It had caused Chu Fengmian's realm to rise again. This time, Chu Fengmian could escape unscathed when facing a 7th or 8th level divine power realm saint. Chapter 298. Although Chu Fengmian had concealed his strength, Qianya could tell that his strength was even more terrifying than before. If Qianya could still see something from Chu Fengmian's previous state, then the current Chu Fengmian's eyes were as dark as the abyss. She could only feel a sense of mystery and fear. What happened? Why did his strength suddenly change so much? Could it be that he was hiding his strength all this time? Then, is this his full strength now? Qianya had countless questions in her mind. Chu Fengmian was someone she couldn't see through. Facing Chu Fengmian, Qianya could only feel an endless mystery. Chu Fengmian had refined a spiritual herb and increased his strength in an instant. The second item is an extraterrestrial meteorite called the Scarlet Flame Stone. It's one of the best fire elemental materials and can be used to forge an earth-grade spiritual weapon. The starting price is 50,000 9 cauldron pills. The old man took out another burning stone from the stands. The price of the Scarlet Flame Stone was much lower than the ambergris grass, but it was still a rare item. Now that the war between the 6 nations was about to begin, everyone had to increase their strength as much as possible. Such a Scarlet Flame Stone and some other materials were enough to forge a new spiritual weapon. Therefore, the price started to rise crazily. I bid 100,000. I bid 150,000. 200,000. 300,000. The fierce sounds of bidding caused the price of the Scarlet Flame Stone to skyrocket. 10 million. A furious voice could be heard all of a sudden. This voice came from Zhao Xiong in the 7th box. Chu Fengmian had already bought the ambergris grass, so he was determined to get the Scarlet Flame Stone. Everyone present could feel Zhao Xiong's anger and no one dared to compete with him. After all, whoever dared to compete with Zhao Xiong at this time would be provoking him and they would soon be in trouble. You want to buy the Scarlet Flame Stone with just 10 million? I bid 15 million. A mocking voice suddenly sounded. It came from Chu Fengmian in the 13th box. He's here again. There's going to be a good show. Who is the person in VIP room 13? Do you have a grudge against family Zhao? No matter what, today's auction will be interesting. Hearing Chu Fengmian's voice, countless people began to laugh and discuss, waiting to see Zhao Xiong suffer. Your Excellency, you're going too far. Zhao Xiong shouted angrily. His words were full of threats. Could it be that you really want to go against our Zhao family? You dare to go against family Zhao? Be careful, you won't even know how you died. 20 million 9 cauldron pills. Zhao Xiong slapped his chair and stood up. Immediately, the chair under him turned to dust. It was enough to see the anger in his heart. 25 million. Chu Fengmian's calm voice sounded again. At the same time, there was a hint of ridicule in his voice. You're just a dog relying on your master's power. This is an auction. We're competing in wealth. Do you dare to make a move? Hearing Chu Fengmian's words, Zhao Xiong's face turned the color of pig liver. As family Zhao's housekeeper, he naturally borrowed family Zhao's power countless times to oppress others. However, Chu Fengmian's words had undoubtedly scolded him thoroughly. He called him a dog. As family Zhao's housekeeper, he was a well-known figure among the half-saints. Countless saints respected him. Now that he was called a dog relying on his master's power, his face instantly turned red. Little bastard. You're courting death. Zhao Xiong cursed angrily. His voice was full of murderous intent. 25 million. If you dare to bid again, you'll die today. Humph. 30 million. Just based on you Zhao family dogs, you dare to threaten this Chu? Isn't it just a competition to see who has more 9 cauldron pills? Come and compete if you have the ability. Chu Fengmian laughed loudly. Every time he called them family Zhao's dogs, he angered family Zhao's disciples. Their 5 orifices were fuming, and their consciousness was jumping wildly. Divine senses frantically swept towards Chu Fengmian's room, trying to figure out Chu Fengmian's identity. Get lost. A group of scoundrels still want to spy on me? You're overestimating yourselves. Chu Fengmian snorted coldly. His body moved, and the countless consciousness were all shattered by Chu Fengmian. Those family Zhao's disciples frantically tried to figure out Chu Fengmian's identity, but it was as if they were looking into a deep abyss. Housekeeper, let's go find those old guys in 9 Cauldron Ancient City. Let's see who this kid is. How dare he provoke family Zhao? Countless family Zhao's disciples roared angrily. Kid, reveal your identity if you have the ability. How dare you go against family Zhao? I think you're tired of living. Reveal my identity? You bunch of dogs don't deserve to know my identity. Ask your family Zhao's Zhao Wudi to come out and kowtow 3 times in front of me. I'm in a good mood, so there's no harm in telling you. Chu Fengmian sneered. This sentence was extremely arrogant. Ask Zhao Wudi to kneel and kowtow. Who is Zhao Wudi? He was the Grand Marshal of the Qin Empire, the #1 expert in the Qin Empire, and someone who could compete with the Qin Empire's royal family. Who was this Chu Fengmian? He was actually arrogant to such an extent. Even Qianya, who was sitting beside Chu Fengmian, was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect Chu Fengmian to dare to say such words. Saying such words almost meant that Chu Fengmian and family Zhao were mortal enemies. Zhao Wudi was a godlike figure in the hearts of all family Zhao's disciples. This sentence was simply an insult to family Zhao. Quickly report to the family. Call the family's experts. Kill this brat. Go find those old guys in 9 Cauldron Ancient City and find out who this brat is. Anyone who dares to provoke family Zhao must die. Countless family Zhao's disciples spoke one after another. They were now going to fight Chu Fengmian to the death. A bunch of paupers. I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. Are you going to pay more for the red flame stones? Chu Fengmian ignored the threats of family Zhao's disciples and laughed loudly. Endure. Wait until we get the fragment of the extreme path immortal weapon, then we'll deal with this brat. Zhao Xiong's face alternated between red and white. In the end, he forcibly suppressed the anger in his heart. Little bastard, I'll let you be arrogant for today. You'll regret offending Family Zhao sooner or later. Regret? I'm afraid Family Zhao doesn't have the ability to make me regret. Chu Fengmian laughed heartily. The scarlet blaze stone had now fallen into his hands. Chu Fengmian took out 30 million 9 cauldron pills and threw it on the stage. You're tuning into the Mythic Realms YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.